Let me tell you something, folks. I know luxury cars. I've driven the German brands. I paid the prices. And then I got into a Genesis. And I said, wait a second. This is luxury. The look, the performance, the comfort, whether it's a sleek G70, I love that car, or the GV80 with that third row, these are high-end vehicles with payments that actually make sense. Go see Michael. Tell him Sid sent you. Genesis of Brooklyn. Find him at genesisofbrooklyn.com.
This is going to be an extremely busy month. I have to watch 104 soccer games, follow the pregame, the postgame, yell useless opinions at the TV. It's a lot. So I knew that when it comes to screening for colon cancer, the choice was clear. The Cologuard Plus test. It can be used at home and can only take 15 minutes, so I can do it during halftime and not miss any action. If you are 45 or older and at average risk, ask your healthcare provider about screening for colon cancer with the Cologuard test. You can also request a prescription at Cologuard.com.
Sid and Friends in the morning. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
I mean, if we're going to put somebody on Mount Rushmore, let's get Sid Rosenberg on Mount Rushmore.
Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's wedding festivities at Madison Square Garden are going to take place over 2 days.
A source at MSG says it's going to consist of a small gathering and then a celebration with over 1,000 guests on Friday. News 4's Ashley Chaparro has the latest buzz around the event.
Over the Taylor.
The World Cup and a Knicks championship, the party never stops in New York.
Came all the way down here hoping to just buy some caps for some people in Florida. Looks like they're not getting nothing. Does she even like the Knicks?
And if you're like these New Yorkers, you may have missed the latest New York buzz, which is Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are supposedly getting married here at MSG this weekend. NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch even confirming the event without confirming.
Before I close, in a briefing about major events happening this weekend in New York City, I would be remiss not to mention an event that we are tracking at Madison Square Garden on Friday night. The NYPD will, of course, have a detail in place, but I am not going to go into more specifics on that at this time.
Here's what we know so far. The New York Times reporting an internal NYPD memo was leaked titled Taylor Swift Wedding at Madison Square Garden. Mayor Mamdani reportedly alluding to the nuptials over the last few weeks and items being loaded in and out of MSG. What are your thoughts on MSG as a venue?
Honestly, I think it's pretty dumb. You have the money, go to a real castle.
In New York, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care. If I was a tourist, you know, I'd probably be like everybody, oh, that's crazy, that's cool.
I think it's just going to be a celebrity event, honestly. Yeah. Like, they're just going to bring the richest and most famous people to their wedding, so.
I'm super excited that it's this weekend because my birthday is actually July 4th.
Whether you're for it or against it, these are some guests people want to see.
The mayor of New York City, Jalen Brunson.
With him, OG Anunoby.
Maybe like Prince Harry and Meghan Markle.
Beyonce.
Well, the wedding of the year happened at MSG this weekend. Will Taylor Swift wear Tim's? No matter what happens, expect Game 5-like security at the Garden this weekend. I'm Ashley Chaparro for NBC New York.
Mr. Mayor, why did you shrink the uniformed head count for NYPD? Mr. Mayor, why are there going to be less police officers? Do you think New Yorkers will still be safe?
Our great city councilman out of Staten Island, Frank Morano.
The mayor's behavior, forget about spending more money than most countries spend. The mayor's behavior, and just in terms of being an honest broker, it's abominable. If you're spending $126 billion and still can't find room for more cops or a fifth firefighter, I think your priorities are way out of order. This budget spends like there's no tomorrow, and unfortunately, the taxpayers still have to live in tomorrow, and we're going to have to pay the bill for a lot of this nonsense next year and the year after that. The city is spending like it won the lottery, and the budget got bigger, but we didn't get any safer. I mean, think of how much larger this budget is than just last year, $10 billion. Wow. Did we get $10 billion more worth of services or public safety? Of course not. I mean, at what point do we take a breath and say we can't just keep spending endlessly?
President Trump responding to new ethics questions on two fronts. The use of a luxury Boeing jet gifted by the Qatari government as a temporary Air Force One, as well as his newly disclosed billion-dollar crypto fortune. Chief White House correspondent Nancy Cordes is traveling with the president.
It was a ride President Trump had been anticipating for months. his first flight aboard this luxury 747 that replaces the old Air Force One.
Well, of course, very little relative to what it would cost if we did it a different way.
The jet may have been a gift from the government of Qatar, but retrofitting it cost the Pentagon and U.S. taxpayers hundreds of millions of dollars. And it won't even be in service for very long.
I said I'd like to use it for a period of time because the other ones, as you know, are under construction. They'll be here in 2 years.
Trump traveled here to North Dakota to tour the new Teddy Roosevelt Presidential Library, which opens on July 4th. He was trailed here by questions about his new 927-page financial disclosure, which reveals he made at least $2.2 billion in 2025, nearly 4 times the earnings he claimed in 2024 before he returned to the White House.
You know why I'm profiting? Because the stock market's going up. Everybody's profiting.
That was not the case in the crypto market, where Trump and his family made more than $1.4 billion last year, even as investors lost hundreds of millions after the value of Trump meme coins and tokens plunged. Democrats were quick to flag massive foreign investments in Trump ventures.
That is corruption, plain and simple. While costs are going up for you, Donald Trump is cashing in.
The documents show that an investment firm tied to the United Arab Emirates purchased half of the Trump family's crypto company for $500 million just before Trump took office last year. Trump would go on to visit the United Arab Emirates during his first foreign swing of his second term just a few months later.
Pretty interesting move by the Celtics. The Celtics needed center help. You know, they've been thin at the frontline position since they had to lose Al Horford and they traded away Kristaps Porzingis last year. And they've signaled that they want Nimi Queta, their terrific pickup from a couple of years ago at low money, to be their future center. And so they bring in Mitchell Robinson, I think, here as a backup. And this is a quality signing for a backup position here. This is the mid-level salary. It's about what he was making last year, give or take a little bit of money. And he's obviously proven that he can be very impactful. The Celtics have immense respect for him because last year when they played in the playoffs, Joe Mazzulla's central game plan was to foul the heck out of him to get him off the court. They believe that Mitchell Robinson is a very important player, so they're backing it up here with this move. Now, they have, in the past, guys, they have wanted to have at least one center who can stretch the floor. That's why they went out and got Porzingis. That's why they kept Horford. That's why they went out and traded for Nikola Vucevic last year. Vucevic actually signed with the Magic this morning. So this will be 2 centers. Queta didn't make a three-pointer last year, and you're certainly not having Mitchell Robinson take a shot from more than 3 or 4 feet from the basket. So this is leaning into pretty much always having a non-shooter on the court. But beyond that, it is, look, a lot has been said about analytics and the Boston Celtics in recent days. The analytics of the Boston Celtics department believes that Mitchell Robinson is an analytical star because they made it a central part of their game plan to get him off the court. So I'm sure they're pretty pleased with this move, not only getting him, but also taking him away from the Knicks, who follow Jim Dolan's words and do not go into the second apron. They right now only have about $8 million they could have offered him. This is not quite double that, but pretty close. And so this is what happens. You win a championship and you draw a line at your spending. Sometimes you lose role players.
Good morning. Good morning. In less than an hour, aircraft from here will join others from around the world. And you will be launching the largest aerial battle in the history of mankind. Mankind, that word should have new meaning for all of us today. We can't be consumed by our petty differences anymore. We will be united in our common interest. Perhaps it's fate that today is the 4th of July, and you will once again be fighting for our freedom. Not from tyranny, oppression, or persecution, but from annihilation. We're fighting for our right to live, to exist. And should we win the day, the 4th of July will no longer be known as an American holiday, but as the day when the world declared in one voice, we will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.
That silly movie Independence Day, which I know did very, very well. Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith. But the speech, I said to Justin, I go, is that a real speech? He goes, no, dummy, that was about aliens. But it was so good, the end of that speech, when he screamed Independence Day. Actually gave me chills, that silly speech from that silly movie. But party in the USA, they've been partying for days. The Great State American Fair, whatever that's called, I don't know. It looks hot and uncomfortable to me. I got to tell you, at no point over the last couple of days have I seen coverage of that and wanted to be there. I know that sounds relatively unpatriotic for a guy like me who's very patriotic. It just looks hot and uncomfortable. But New York, you want to talk about party in the USA. Right now, New York is the party, right? I mean, think about this. The Knickerbockers win the championship, but en route to winning the championship, there were parties every night in New York, even riots. You had these stupid watch parties, which I still think was a big mistake, even though the majority of New Yorkers did behave themselves. There were still enough bad apples to ruin it, but they were partying just about every game, every night, really from the Cleveland series, the Eastern Conference Finals, right through the 5-game win over San Antonio in the NBA Finals. So you had that. And now you've got World Cup soccer. And the Americans won again last night, beat Bosnia 2-0. So now America advances to the Sweet 16. That's a big deal. We've got a record of 3-1 so far in this tournament. We're going to take on Belgium in Seattle on Monday night. Now, the leading goal scorer for our team, who does not sound American, but I guess he is, I guess his name is Folarin Balogun. Is that how you say it?
I guess that's close.
I think it's Balogun.
Yeah. I have no idea. What happened to Bob Smith? We're American. You know,
Bob Smith can't play soccer. That's the problem.
I guess not.
He got 2 yellow cards, too. He's
So this guy, he's got 3 goals. He did score last night, too, right?
He did, yeah. He had the first goal last night.
He had the first goal, right. So he gets a red card, and if you don't follow soccer, don't worry, either do I. I don't even know what that means. Did he do something illegal, or what did he do?
He stepped on the heel of an opposing player, and I guess they thought it was on purpose. And so that
I hope so.
Gets you booted from the game and booted from the next game.
So he's suspended.
Yeah.
So our leading goal scorer is not going to play against Belgium.
No.
How good is Belgium?
Belgium beat us in what's called a friendly match before the World Cup.
Yeah.
5-2.
How do you know all this?
Because I follow sort of soccer.
No, you don't. You read it this morning, didn't you?
No. One of my kids is super into it, so I'll
really
watch with them. Yeah.
What is he, retarded?
No, he just loves soccer.
No, yeah. I don't know.
Such a thing to say about my child.
No, I love you. Is this Jeremy
this
or
Gabe.
Gabriel?
No, this is Gabe.
Oh, Gabe, okay. Yeah. You know I love Gabriel because that's my son's name. So, all right, so you got the Knicks winning, you got the U.S. soccer team, and now we've got Taylor Swift's wedding, which is tomorrow. I know people are trying to say, well, there's rumors. There are no rumors. It's tomorrow, 100%. And tonight is the rehearsal dinner. So I tell Lou, I go, listen, we're going to end the open today with the Taylor Swift story. And we're going to play the song Style because I love that song by Taylor Swift. I actually like Taylor Swift's music from years ago. She's just become maybe even too big for me. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan anymore. But certainly I can recognize talent. I like a couple of her songs. No big deal. So I said to Lou, play it because I've been invited to the wedding. And Lou seemed angry. I don't know why.
No. That's not, again, the wrong...
No. All right.
Wrong emotion.
Well, then feel free to correct me.
No, surprise.
Surprise.
How's
no,
that?
You seemed angry.
No.
Yeah.
So again.
No.
All right, let's rewind.
No, maybe you weren't angry, but you seemed angry. I don't know why.
No, I
or
just-
maybe even jealous. I don't know.
Oh, no, there's another word for it.
Well,
what word is that?
And just whatever. I could not believe
What
I
don't
was
you?
hearing.
Why?
That you were.
Am I not a big-time New Yorker at this point?
Well, when did you get invited?
Tuesday.
And you kept this in until today.
I did, yes.
Oh, I see.
I was
Okay.
told not to say anything by Jessica Tisch.
I got you. No, you're a witness.
Yeah. Okay.
Tuesday. You got told Tuesday.
So
on, like,
tonight
the
is
D-list.
the night's the rehearsal dinner at Pico, Mexican restaurant on 129th Street in Bell Harbor. Did you know that, Lou?
No. Did I seem angry with that response too? I just no.
Does anybody know where the rehearsal dinner is tonight? All kidding aside.
No
Anybody
idea.
know?
No. Somehow they've kept that secret.
1,000 people at MSG tomorrow, including, I think they invited the starting 5, and they're all coming from the Knicks.
Seriously?
Yes.
Yes, because she's a big Knicks fan.
How? I sat there and watched her and Travis Kelce sit on the court during the Knick-Cleveland Cavalier game and root for Cleveland. How was she a big Knick fan?
It's ridiculous.
This whole city. Mamdani is not a Knick fan, not even close. Somebody wrote a speech for him at the victory parade, which was ridiculous, insulting. He knew none of that by himself. He took up most of the time speaking when he's the radical Islam mayor. He spoke more than Jalen Brunson. He's not a Knick fan. The stupid governor, Wicked Witch, she's not a Knick fan. Taylor Swift, she's not a Knick fan. Why did all of a sudden it become so important for all these jock sniffers to become Knick fans? I know he won, but this is ridiculous.
But you're really not asking that question.
No, I'm not. I know why, but it's just... It maybe doesn't bother a lot of you, but for some reason it seems to bother me. I don't know.
It bothers me too.
It does, right?
Yeah, because
Good.
people were saying she goes to a lot of games. I've seen, no,
What?
she doesn't. She doesn't go to a lot of
What,
games.
is she there in November when the Knicks are taking on Memphis in 32-degree temperatures?
Do you think if
I don't think so.
Do you think if she was at games, the news would be covering it left and right? You'd hear about it. The
Of
next day,
course.
and walking out of that place, she'd have her whole bunch of people with her. You'd see it. Stop telling us that she's been at games.
She doesn't go to
She's
games.
not going to
I know.
games.
I know.
Taylor
It's
Swift.
stupid.
Yeah, she lives in New York. Fine. She knows that. Maybe she knows the Knicks, but she does not go to games.
No games.
Stop
You know what
saying
game she does go to? Kansas City Chiefs.
Right.
She's there every week for her boyfriend, now her fiancé, soon to be her husband. She does go to those games, but she does not go regularly to Knick games. She just doesn't.
Mariska Hargitay, different. She's there.
She is there.
Yes.
Ben Stiller is there.
Right.
Tracy Morgan is there. Spike Douchebag Lee, he is there. But some of these people who became these immense Knick fans, you never see them. Corey Zelnick, he is there. Bill O'Reilly's there quite a bit. I do think John Turturro goes quite a bit, no?
He does, but they didn't
yeah.
give him a seat courtside during the
he didn't say
playoffs.
I know, I saw that. But I think he got one in San Antonio. Is that possible? Maybe not. I don't know. I don't care anymore. It annoyed the hell out of me, too. I don't care about celebrities. There was a time I did. I would be a regular watcher, the E! Channel. I really liked, I became friendly years and years ago with a guy named Bill Rancic. And Bill Rancic, you remember this, Lewis, he won the very first ever Apprentice before it became Celebrity Apprentice with Donald Trump. And Bill, a Chicago guy, and I became really good friends. And then he married somebody named Juliana DePonde. And she was on the E! Channel. And she was part of that great Joan Rivers show, which I never missed, ever, with her and Ozzy Osbourne's daughter,
Kelly,
and the gay guy, George, from Greece, and Juliana, who became Juliana Rancic. You know, she was very good on television. So anyway, I used to watch the E! Channel all the time. And even my friend Kevin Frazier, who used to work at ESPN, now he works at Entertainment Tonight for many, many years. I got into it, you know. And I used to love those red carpet shows. Loved it with Joan Rivers. And really once Joan Rivers died, I had had enough. And then when all these Hollywood people started to become grotesque and lunatics, from Bob De Niro to Howard Stern to Bruce Springsteen, I want no part of them. So I don't think I've watched any of those shows in years. You know who actually started some of that, Lewis, was our dear friend Pat O'Brien when he was he? Inside Edition was Bill O'Reilly. What was Pat O'Brien again? The Insider. Remember that?
I think so. Well, hi, everybody.
With Lara Spencer. I think she ended up on the Today Show. Anyway, I did watch those shows for a while, but now I hate all of Hollywood, and that's that. You watch those shows, no?
No, those shows are painful to watch.
But you love Joan Rivers, no?
Oh, the greatest.
The greatest ever.
Yeah.
She was so good on that show, that red carpet show with the fashion, and man, do I miss her. And she died for, like, no reason. She was getting, it wasn't like a real surgery.
Yeah.
It was like,
It was an accident, though, right?
But she was getting, what do you call that? Like plastic surgery or something. I don't know.
She died when they put her under.
She wasn't sick.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, and that stupid doctor killed her.
And remember, he took pictures, right? Or
Yeah, he
reportedly
took
took pictures with her,
terrible.
selfies with her while she was under, yeah.
Yeah. So it's a big party in the USA. We got 250 coming up on Saturday officially. We've got the Swift wedding in New York, again, after the Knicks and the soccer. Lots of parties. Saturday night, I'll be at Bethel Woods, which I believe is the most beautiful venue in the country. You want to see a show? No place prettier than Bethel Woods. We're going to watch the Doobie Brothers and Santana, going to be great. So a lot of reasons to be in a good mood, but yet I'm still not really in a good mood. Let me rewind the tape to last night, and our friends Paul King and Margaret Powers invited us to go to the Wharf, which is a beautiful place in Bell Harbor, Rockaway, right on the water. I mean, Lou, you got to say, that setting last night, how beautiful was that?
Amazing.
Right?
Great views. It just felt amazing.
It did. MJ was there, and Lou, and me, and my son Gabriel, and the Rockaway Republican Club had this party to celebrate 250 at the Wharf, and they invited other folks running for office. This young lady, I really like her. Her name is Saritha.
Oh, she's smart.
She's very smart. She's running for Attorney General against Letitia James. I don't know if she can win, to be honest, but she should win because she's really smart, really prepared, and she'd be a much better Attorney General.
Oh, my God.
She would actually put criminals behind bars, not spend her days and nights trying to figure out how to put Donald Trump behind bars. So she was there. She spoke. And then the great Sullivan family. You guys know Michael Sullivan, one of my best friends. Brennan and Carr, best roast beef place in the world in Brooklyn. And all the Sullivan brothers, there are 7 of them that live in Breezy Point. Brian Sullivan, former cop, he was there last night with his beautiful wife, Karen. And Tom Sullivan, who fought in Kuwait, Afghanistan, Iraq, saved people from burning to death and dying in the World Trade Center on 9/11. Legitimately did all of that. And yet, he's lost twice running for assembly against Stacey Amato in Queens. But he's running again. He's got Tom Willis behind him again, and he's going to win. He's going to win. So he was there. He spoke, and Saritha spoke. Bruce Blakeman was going to show up. He was pretty close by in Sheepshead Bay, I think, in Brooklyn, but he couldn't make it. And I did most of the speaking. And while I was definitely celebratory when it came to 250, I think much of my talking last night was somewhat pessimistic. When you go, happy birthday, America, but the truth is we are an effing mess, that's kind of what I was trying to point out last night. And when you look at these DSA victory wins in New York, in Colorado, a legitimate Nazi, just one in Maine, all over the country, these socialists, these Marxists, these Jew-hating DSA candidates that keep winning, 9 of them have won in New York. It's not just Mamdani, not even close. 9 have won in New York. It's hard for me to just celebrate 250 as if everything is wonderful and beautiful when the truth is, if you're really paying attention, which I do too much, the country is falling apart. The Iran war is not a win. It's a mess. Okay, it's a mess. You know, you got a lot of people very upset with President Trump for traveling in an airplane given to him by Qatar. Qatar, the same country that harbors terrorists, Hamas leaders, the same people that murdered 1,200 Israelis back in October of 2023, and we're taking gifts from that country like it's a great thing. It's a mess. Mayor Mamdani, who hates this country, who sat there with Hassan Piker when Piker said America deserved 9/11. Mayor Mamdani is going to deliver an address from City Hall marking America's 250th birthday. Now, you tell me. Maybe it's just me. I hate the guy. There's no question. I make a living of hating on Mamdani. You tell me. Can you think of anybody worse than Mamdani to deliver an address on the birthday of our country? What about Mamdani screams to you, God bless America? You tell me no.
Not a whole lot.
Not one damn thing. Not one damn thing. He's a radical Islam jihadist, Marxist, socialist, communist. He hates his country. He hates capitalism. He hates every traditional American value. He's a piece of garbage. And this guy is going to deliver an address? And then you get the former vice president, this dopey biatch, Kamala Harris, who wants to run for president again, despite being humiliated by Trump last time. And what does she do? She reaches out to Mamdani and all these pro-Palestine lunatics. Pro-Palestine lunatics in an effort to, I guess, move forward in her next run for the presidency. Is that not unbelievable? No? Kamala Harris going to do it again?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? None of it's really surprising. Because even though she lost, all the people around her are telling her how great she is and she should run again.
She should do it again. Yeah. She was so good. You remember the message, right?
What was the message?
Yeah, that's the point. Yeah. She giggled a lot. She talked about all these wonderful abstracts. She had nothing. She's a moron. I'm going to say it to you right now, folks, at the risk of you calling me a misogynist, a chauvinist, a racist, because she's black. She's a stupid woman. She slept her way to the top. We know that. The Mayor Brown out in San Francisco. Barack Obama even called her publicly, pissed off Michelle, the best-looking attorney general in the country. Whatever she was, DA, I don't know. I don't care. But she's a moron. Kamala Harris and AOC are both morons. Now, the difference is they're so stupid, well, maybe they're not, because somehow they've gained big power in this country. Big power. Like it or not, she was the VP. She ran for president. AOC is a force in the Democrat Party. So maybe they're not all that stupid after all, but they are. Harris and AOC are both morons. Guys are afraid to say it. I'm not going to say that. Why not? It's a fact. So she's going to run again, and she's reaching out to Mamdani and all these pro-Palestine lunatics. Help me out, please. Help me out. Help me out. We can win. I can beat J.D. Vance, who I can't stand either. I know he spoke yesterday. Where was he yesterday, no?
I think he was in Newport, Virginia.
Oh, that's right, Virginia, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. In fact, I have some of this audio. Here he is, the vice president, praising the military. He was at a naval air station, you're right, Noam, in Virginia Beach. Lewis, this is J.D. Vance, cut number 7.
Part of the reason why we in our political leadership are able to do what we do is because the world over, bad guys and good guys, friends and foes, allies and enemies are afraid of you.
I guess. Here's more of J.D. Vance, Lewis, cut number 8.
They know that if we ask, you guys will go and make the impossible possible. They know that when we demand that a bad guy does something, if they say no, you are the ones who are going to enforce that demand.
One more, J.D. Vance, once again, praising the military, cut number 9.
When he has asked you to go to war, he has given you a defined mission, He's asked you to go and accomplish it, and most importantly, he's giving you the tools to kick the hell out of the enemy and to come home safely.
All right, J.D. Vance. What's going on in the city, Noam, today?
Well, we had that big distraction yesterday, middle of the day, that daredevil couple who climbed the Empire State Building's 1,400-foot antenna to the top, and nobody knew exactly what they were up to. Remember, they unfurled that banner talking about peace. Then one of them got down on his knee and asked his girlfriend to marry him.
I got to tell you, I thought it was pretty cool.
I thought it was, too.
I mean, I'm afraid of heights, so I wouldn't be able to go to the third floor. I mean it. I start freaking out. Like when I watch the video, I can't even watch it. I'm afraid to even watch a video of somebody climbing that high, but to actually get on your knee and ask her to marry you at the top of that building, I thought it was pretty cool.
And you could see she did not see it coming because she had her body sort of moved back like, oh, no, I can't believe you're doing this. And but then, did you watch it live? Were you watching it live?
No, I have a life. No.
Okay. Well, someone texted me, hey, turn on the TV, see what's going on.
Yeah.
And you didn't know how this was going to end. That was the thing. Is like, are they going to then jump off?
Right. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
Right. They just would have jumped off. And right.
It looked super great. Now, but I think everybody's missing a big point. How the hell did they get up there?
I don't know.
Well,
how did they get up there?
It's not a good sign.
No, I know
two
that.
People, now imagine they had an explosive device.
Right, or guns or something.
Now, what all of Midtown...
Did they actually come from the very bottom?
Well, there's a lot of questions. Did they have a ticket? Did they buy a ticket? We don't know that.
Ticket to what?
To get up to the observatory.
Oh, so maybe they got up there and then climbed out.
Well, so they
didn't scale the whole building.
No, they went up to the observatory, and there was even tourists there who saw them go into it. It's an employee hatch that takes you up to the antenna. For some reason, these tourists didn't go tell anybody. I guess
How did these two people know about all this?
Well, they must have cased the place beforehand.
They cased the joint.
Oh.
They cased it.
What fun.
Yeah.
Let's go so fun.
No, Lou's right.
That's
it's a really bad job.
Very bad.
And horrible security. Again, it's kind of cute. He asked her to marry him, but to Lou's point, if they had a bomb or
anything,
some type of weapon,
right,
and could be very bad.
You can't get to them so easily. They got up there, but those the law enforcement had to use.
I know they got up easier than our guys did.
Well, that's to be expected.
And let's remember, Tracy Morgan was on this show not that long ago, and he talked about the horrible murder that took place at the Empire State Building. You guys remember?
Yep.
He brought it up.
Yes.
King Kong. He was murdered.
I think he started crying again.
You think he did? Yeah. I have no idea why he even brought that up now in the context, but he did mention after the Knicks won that King Kong was murdered at the Empire State Building. Tracy Morgan.
He never got his just due, Sid. For King Kong. Do you remember?
So they got arrested. They're going to jail for a long time?
I don't know, because they were hit with a whole bunch of charges last night: reckless endangerment, criminal mischief.
But they're probably out of jail already today. I mean, people who commit murder and rape are out the next day. Let alone this.
And this is a couple, they've done this all over the world. If you go to their Instagram, it's pictures.
Really?
Yes, they've been atop of buildings in Taiwan, in the UK.
I guess, the climbers.
You can't do that without being experienced in climbing.
Yeah. It would have been cool, all kidding aside, if they got butt naked and started having sex. I'm serious.
Yeah, sure.
He bangs her at the top of the Empire State Building, and it's on TV for all of us to see. Empire State porn.
Nice.
I don't know, bro. It's pretty good. Party in the USA. Let's go.
I like it.
What do they look like? I haven't.
They're a good-looking couple.
Yeah. Oh, they are good-looking.
Yeah, they're from East Orange. No doubt their Instagram is being juiced by this. And they also they were the center of a documentary that was called Skywalkers: The Love Story. It's on Netflix. Fantastic. And so no doubt that's getting a lot of viewing today too.
This is fantastic.
Yeah.
I got to check these people out more. The heroes, that's what they are. Lou, get over it. It's fine. They didn't have a bomb. Take it easy. They didn't have a bomb. Take it easy.
I don't know what's wrong with me.
Take it easy. They're in love. It's a beautiful love story. It's beautiful.
Great. Yeah.
Hey. Me, I gave my wife a ring and a salad at Buckley's on Nostrand Avenue. I feel less than. No, I know. Every guy today should feel like a dick.
Well,
every guy in the world today should feel like a dick.
That's going to be the bar now. Like, you couldn't climb the Empire.
Exactly right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you're right. That's it. So,
well, how did you propose to your wife? No.
I did it on the corner of West 51st and 9th Avenue.
See, lame. Lame.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Jump out of an airplane or, I don't know.
Hold up the sign.
Right.
You're jumping out when you're skydiving.
Yeah. Well, what else you got besides this nonsense?
That's the big local story. Of course, the heat.
That's the big local story?
Yeah, well, the heat. I mean, what can you say? It's going to be hot. It's summertime. So, I mean, that's a big deal.
Yeah, but it's going to be very,
degrees.
very hot, not just summertime.
Yeah.
Consecutive days of 100 degrees.
It's going to, the crazy part is it's going to be 100 today, 100 tomorrow. On Saturday, it's going to be awfully warm. Sunday, not as terrible. But then come Monday, when we all go back to work, it's going to be 76 degrees.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a very short
blizzard coming on Tuesday.
At the hotels.
But the weather pattern's just fine. Don't worry about it. We're fine. All right, so you got the heat. We got a crazy couple on top of the Empire State Building. What else we got?
More indicate, you're talking about the Taylor Swift Travis Kelce wedding that obviously is going to happen at the Garden tomorrow. And we are hearing from the owner of a bar there. His name's Pat O'Brien. It's right there on West 31st Street.
I know who he is.
You do know him?
Yes. Now, it's not the same Pat O'Brien that was up from Imus in those days, but I do know that Pat O'Brien, yes.
Yeah, so he owns a bar right there on West 31st Street.
Yes, he does.
And he has more details than anybody. So he's been told they're going to set up a wall that goes the length of the street, like right past his bar, so that nobody can see who's going in and out of the Garden. That's part of the preparations that are going on. He said he's been told there's going to be temporary tents put up on West 31st Street. But he says this wall that's being installed to block the view, that's the thing that he's worried about. He says it may hurt business. Now, the opposite may be true because there's already tons of Swifties standing outside the Garden waiting to see what takes place. Maybe when they're done, they'll go have a beer and a burger at his restaurant.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. It's a good place, too. Very good place. What else you got?
And then, of course, the weekend, I don't know if you know about all that's happening this weekend, but, you have the parade of ships. I mean, it's going to be 100 degrees, so it may not be so great to be outside, but you have the parade of ships on Saturday morning. And at the same time, then you'll have the Navy Blue Angels. They'll fly overhead.
Yeah, those guys are cool.
And then
I like those guys.
Yeah, and then on the 3rd, you have that, we forgot about this, they're having the ball drop, right? Normally it's just on New Year's Eve.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, but at 11:59, they'll have this historic ball drop. They'll then throw about 2,000 pounds of red, white, and blue confetti. They'll have live musical performances right in the middle like they do for New Year's Eve.
See, now I'm annoyed. I don't know why, but now it's like too much. Now you just annoyed me.
Really? And I'm not even done yet. There's more.
Oh, God. What else?
And then, of course, you have the Macy's fireworks display. 85,000 shells are going to be exploded. Lower Manhattan, the best spots to see.
Let me just say this.
Yeah.
If you show up tomorrow or Saturday to watch the Macy's fireworks display, you know where I'm going?
I think I do.
You are a loser.
I think you're more of a loser if you watch them on TV.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah.
You're right about that, yes. Me, I'm going to be at Monticello Raceway with like 100 rednecks watching the fireworks display. Is that, no, Macy's is great. Is that the Garucci brothers or?
I know in years past it has. I don't know who it is this year.
They do Shea Stadium, I think, and Yankee Stadium. I don't know. So you got the, it's a lot. What else you got there for Saturday?
Yeah, those are the big events on Saturday. But that's enough. You got parades. You got the flyover. That's kind of cool.
Are you going to any of those?
Well, the cool part is I have a view of Midtown from where I live.
Oh, Jersey
so I can
City, right.
So I can just walk outside.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
So I don't have to be like with the crowds,
right?
Burning myself out 100 degrees to see it.
And Lou, you're going to be here too, right? You're going to Adrian's one night?
Yeah.
Where else you going? Not Callie's.
No, Friday in Brooklyn probably.
Oh, Friday in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
You don't know yet?
Not too sure.
Okay.
But Friday's good. I can look at. You can get a good view, and there'll be fireworks going.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Friday.
On the beach, you'll have it too by our house. I'm sure they have it every year. No, it's a very, very fun time. It really is, and America's enjoying themselves, and we should. Okay, we have a lot of issues, a lot. But find a way to enjoy these next couple of days because the truth is what we've done in 250 years, this amazing country, is nothing short of miraculous. Miraculous. I even said last night, we're still the best country in the world, even when Joe Biden's president. That's saying a lot, right? It's easy when Trump is president. Even with all my criticisms lately of Trump, the Iran war, how he talks about Bibi. On the flip side, how he talks about terrible people, complimenting them all the time, including Erdogan and Mamdani and all that. He's still the best. And we are the best. And I want all of you to go out there and have a good time. And I'll come back on Monday when all this is basically over, right?
You're going to miss it all, yeah.
No, I'm missing it on purpose. I'm leaving the city on purpose. You know that, right? I could stay here and revel in all this stuff. It just sounds like a lot for me. I don't know. I can go to D.C., too. I can call the president or Monica Crowley today, I'm sure. But I like going to my mom's house, upstate New York, nice and quiet. Like I said, I'll see the Doobie Brothers. I'll see Santana. I'll see plenty of fireworks. And I'll be removed from all the madness of this city. I don't want to be. I mean this. I know. I don't want to be in an American city when a radical Islam mayor speaks to July 4th. I can't do it. I can't do it. So I stopped watching the Mets. I left purposely the day the Knicks had their parade and flew to Israel. And I refuse to be in this city when Mamdani speaks. So for people that say that Sid's got Mamdani derangement syndrome, you bet your ass I do. You know, for people that call me an Islamophobist, whatever that word is, I don't know, I don't care. I'm actually honored when you call me that. But I believe, Noam, the definition of phobia is a misplaced fear, an irrational fear. Is that not true?
That is right.
Okay. If you're not afraid of radical Islam, then you're stupid. There is no phobia. There is no Islamophobia. I'm scared because I should be scared. Because these people don't love our country, don't love our traditions, don't love our values. They come here, they don't mingle. I know the mayor is because he's won public office. They don't assimilate. So there is nothing irrational about fearing radical Islam. So what Islamophobia exactly is, I don't know. I don't know, and I don't care. So I don't want to be anywhere near this city when the mayor is involved with something like that. Is that too much, no?
No, I think that's fair.
You do, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so there you have it. All right, a lot of good guests stopping by today on this Thursday. It's really a Friday morning because, again, this show is off tomorrow. You guys have any idea who's filling in tomorrow? I don't.
Nope.
Okay.
It is John and Jake.
John and Jake. Mm-hmm. Okay. We'll be back on Monday. But today we've got Rich Lowry. We've got the president. He was just reelected again of the Sergeants Benevolent Association, my dear friend Vincent Vallelong. Brian Geltzeiler is going to stop by. Mitchell Robinson just won the championship with our Knicks. He's now a Boston Celtic. And Jaylen Brown, who was a Boston Celtic a couple of days ago, is now a Philadelphia 76er. And LeBron James, where is he going to end up? We'll talk to Brian Geltzeiler coming up. KT McFarland, Bill O'Reilly.
Sid and Friends in the morning on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
A couple days ago, we got a big delivery, Danielle and I, my beautiful wife, of flowers to our house in Queens. And it was Tom and Renee sending this huge bouquet because a week ago Thursday, Danielle and I celebrated our 34-year wedding anniversary. So thank you to Tom and Renee for that. We love the Jaspers. Mike Lawler went to Manhattan. Rudy Giuliani went to Manhattan. Ray Kelly went to Manhattan. So thank you for that, Tom and Renee. You know, yesterday, I started the show by talking about July the 1st. On a sad note, how my father passed away 6 years ago yesterday. The great Harvey died July 1st, 2020. But how about this? Every July 1st, not only will I be reminded of my dad's death, but at least until 2035.
This is crazy.
This is nuts. I saw his video yesterday. Former New York Met Bobby Bonilla, I know you folks forgot about this, receives $1.3 million every July 1st from the Mets until 2035 as part of his deferred money contract that he did way before Steve Cohen. So there's a video of Bobby celebrating yesterday. This guy gets over $1 million a year every year on July the 1st, no?
How did he get such a deal?
He's smart.
Good agent.
I mean, Ohtani doing kind of the same thing with much bigger numbers, obviously, but Ohtani deferred like almost $1 billion. That's the issue with baseball, and that's why there's not going to be any baseball next year. Trust me, there'll be no baseball next year. Enjoy it this year, even though New York's a mess right now. Mets are terrible. Yankees have lost, 7 straight? But there'll be no baseball next year. And one of the issues is the Dodgers continue to put together championship teams. They've won the last 2 World Series. They'll probably win it again this year because all their players defer their money. So the Dodgers could afford to pay everybody now to win championships, and they get their money later in life, just like Bobby Bonilla. Another $1.3 million for Bobby Bonilla yesterday. Isn't that nuts?
That could be one of the greatest sports things.
I mean, I think he was the first one to do that, right?
Yeah, they used that big lump sum payment to put between 2011, I think, and 2035.
Yeah.
So he got paid.
No, before maybe even
before
2006 or something. I don't know. But I saw the video and I was like, excuse me, I forgot about this. Did you see the video, Noam?
I did. When was the last time he actually played for the Mets?
Oh my God, it's got to be 20 plus years.
Wow.
And he wasn't very good with the Mets, you remember. Of course, he was a great Pittsburgh Pirate. Him and Bonds.
1999.
99, that's
Come
right.
on. Wow.
Yeah.
27 years.
Those Pirate teams with him and Barry Bonds and Andy Van Slyke, and those guys were great World Series teams, but he came to the Mets with Jeff Torborg. You remember all that. We got Brett Saberhagen. Greg Jeffries was just coming up after that great rookie campaign in 88, and we couldn't win. And Bonilla made a lot of money. Couldn't field. Remember those days out in right field? And it was just a disaster.
That was under the Wilpons, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. $1.3 million every July 1st for Bobby Bo. He's no dummy.
That is unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
This is Sid on Sports. Oh, my goodness! Sponsored by Peerless Boilers on 77 WABC.
Justin Ellick here with your sports update, sponsored by Pete Morgan and Peerless Boilers. Go to peerlessboilers.com to find a deal under you. Peerless Boilers, the world's best built boilers. Start out in Santa Clara last night. Fuller and Balogun scored his 3rd World Cup goal before receiving a red card, and Malik Tillman added a free kick goal as the 10-man U.S. beat Bosnia and Herzegovina 2-0. This marks just the Americans' 2nd World Cup knockout win since 1930 and 2002. The victory in this expanded tournament sets up a round of 16 match come Monday night in Seattle against Belgium, and due to the red card, our leading scorer Balogun will be suspended for that match. Let's head to the big news yesterday coming out of the NBA. Free agent center Mitchell Robinson, fresh off winning that NBA title with our New York Knicks, has agreed to a 3-year, $47.4 million deal to sign with the Boston Celtics with a player option in the 3rd season. He'll be the backup center out there in Boston. So sayonara to the great Mitchell Robinson. Also, Jaylen Brown has a new home as the Celtics agreed to send the former NBA Finals MVP to the Philadelphia 76ers in a blockbuster.
They're going to be really
trade.
good.
Yeah.
I mean, if Embiid can actually play,
but how many
you got Maxey and Jaylen Brown.
I know, but how many times have we said that in maybe the past 5-6 years where the Sixers are going to be,
they went to the second
top.
round this year.
Yeah.
The Knickerbockers killed them, but they added Jaylen Brown.
I know.
He's one of the best 5 players in the league, or 10 players,
okay,
ever it
but
is.
How about 5 years ago when they added James Harden? They've done this before.
You can't compare
Jimmy
Harden.
Butler.
No, you can't compare. This guy is a legitimate superstar. And him and Maxey, if Embiid gives them something, they could be really good.
I agree.
Really good.
I totally agree. I'm just saying, we've almost been down this road before with the Sixers.
No, not with a guy like Brown.
Okay.
Those other guys, they also added Paul George, don't forget.
Right.
Now he went to Boston, so Boston ends up with Paul George and Mitchell Robinson, but they lose Jaylen Brown. I think the 76ers now become maybe the favorite. They're right there with the Knickerbockers and maybe Toronto.
Yeah, they certainly leapfrog the Celtics, I would
Yeah, you lose
imagine.
Jaylen Brown, you bring in Mitchell Robinson and Paul George.
Yeah.
You took a step backwards.
I would say so.
Although Jason Tatum is going to be healthy this year.
Yes, he will.
So they're going to be really good. They still have Derek White.
Yeah, they'll still be.
The East looks like $1 million.
I would say so.
The Knickerbockers road is not going to be easy this year.
No, it will not be.
No.
So we'll see. But of course, these teams got to load up. They saw what the Knicks did this year. And you got to come back with a formidable squad to, try and take them down from the top of that mountain. We'll see. Speaking about the bottom of said mountain, both of our local ball clubs are right there right now. Out in Toronto, the Mets fell 9-3 to the Blue Jays in the rubber game finale of a 3-game set. Up next for them, an off day today before traveling to Atlanta to visit the Braves over the weekend. And out in the Bronx, Yankees losing streak stretched to 7. They get swept for the second series in a row, losing 6-2 in 11 innings to the Detroit Tigers yesterday in the finale of a 3-game set. They're up next for them, an off day today before welcoming in the Minnesota Twins over the weekend. That's your sports, sponsored by Pete Morgan and Peerless Boilers. Go to peerlessboilers.com to find a deal under you. Peerless Boilers, the world's best built boilers. I'm Justin Ellick on 77 WABC.
Sid and Friends in the morning on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Last night, again, we celebrated our country's birthday at a beautiful place in our neighborhood called The Wharf with the Rockaway Republican Club led by Paul King and our friend Margaret Powers. They now have the Rockaway Times, and they did a story today. So it's coming to your apartment today, Lewis. Make sure you see it and read it.
Thank God. Okay. Good.
It reads, with a great picture, I must say, Sid Rosenberg elected to the NYSBA Hall of Fame. We talk about me going in October the 22nd at the Rainbow Room in New York City. He did a good job here, Paul King did, because he actually got quotes from some of our favorite local politicians. So, for example, here's one from Mike Lawler. Mike Lawler says Sid Rosenberg is a true New York original and national treasure. Thank you, Mike. Provocative, funny, passionate, unrelenting. He cares deeply about the issues that impact New Yorkers. A well-deserved honor for a great American. That's really nice.
Very good.
Mike Lawler. Here is former congressman, now the man who basically with Sonderland runs Trump's Labor Department, the great Anthony D'Esposito. He said, a hearty mazel tov to my dear friend Sid Rosenberg on his induction into the Hall of Fame. He's overcome tremendous challenges, fought his way back from difficult times, and built an extraordinary career through grit, faith, and perseverance. Along the way, he's remained a fearless voice for law enforcement, a staunch supporter of Israel, and a proud advocate for conservative values. This honor is richly deserved. Congratulations, my friend. Thank you, Anthony. And one more from the amazing 14-term Congressman Peter King, who was on this show just yesterday. It's been a turbulent journey, but Sid Rosenberg is truly Mr. New York Radio, the voice of real New Yorkers. Sid is loyal, tough, and a great American. Well, how about that? Mike Lawler, Anthony D'Esposito, and Peter King, thank you so much. Rich Lowry's a great American, and we love the Nat Review. Rich, good morning, buddy. How are you?
Good. How are you, Sydney?
I'm doing great. I'm going to the Hall of Fame, Rich. I'm like Mickey effing Mantle.
That's so great.
I know. Who would have thunk this years and years ago? But, listen, I made a speech last night at this event. And look, I'm all about celebrating 250. I think it's marvelous. And we are far and away. It's not even close. We are far and away the greatest country in the world. I do wish our kids learn more about our history. Like Brian Kilmeade said on this show yesterday, they don't even know about the revolution. All they teach in New York City schools is slavery and civil rights. These kids have no idea what the real history of this country is. And we're a magnificent country. But we got a lot of problems right now. We got DSA candidates winning all across America. We're involved in a war no matter what President Trump says that we're not winning. In fact, it's hurting us. So you tell me, Rich, while we get set to celebrate Saturday, a worthwhile celebration, is it not dampened just a little by what's going on in this country and outside this country?
No, I don't think it should dampen the celebration of this amazing experiment. 250 years. We're a country that has a young spirit. At the same time, we have some of the oldest governing institutions in America because they're built by geniuses and work so well. And if you look back in 1976, the last big celebration, country was in a terrible place then. Jimmy Carter was president.
True.
Gas lines.
Yep.
Iran was about to be.
Well, no, but it wasn't. That wasn't until his way out in like 78, 79, right?
Yeah, I
right.
misspoke. It wasn't happening yet, but the humiliation was to come, and the 50-year war was going to begin. So no, it shouldn't dampen our celebration. But look, we should be concerned about it, no doubt. I mean, the Democrats are going into a lunatic place, and there's poisonous trends on the right as well.
There are, but a lot of those poisonous trends on the right aren't politicians. Tucker
Correct.
Carlson's not a politician, okay? So when I've been getting...
Not yet.
Not yet.
Because he wants to form a party. But look, Donald Trump has held the center on this issue, and it is holding it back on the right. So you've been right about him and how important he is to Jews. There's just no doubt about it.
President Trump?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's gone sideways. You know, I mean, I spend most of my time the last couple of weeks criticizing President Trump more than saying nice things about him. Now, look, don't confuse. He's still the best ever.
So-called deal.
The Iran deal it's not a deal. Let's stop saying that, okay? Right now it's an MOU. There is no deal. There's no deal. So between this Iran mess, and I don't care about the Dow Jones and the S&P, it's a mess. And the way he's been treating Israel and Bibi lately, and his continued compliments of people like Erdogan and Mamdani, even though I still love him dearly. I think he's mad at me, but I love him dearly. Lately, I'm not all that happy with President Trump. How about that?
Yeah, well, he hasn't gone, where J.D. Vance has in terms of criticizing Israel. But look, he was just desperate to.
Well, he criticizes Bibi, though. He's very, very tough on Bibi. Very tough.
Yeah, well, he'll be tough on him now and not tough on him 6 months from now. But he's not on Israel and the Jews. He's not where Tucker Carlson is, and never will be. That's just not fundamentally where he is. But look, the gas prices, he couldn't take them. He wanted to stop. He apparently, according to the Wall Street Journal, I don't know whether you saw this report yesterday or the day before, he wanted to reopen the strait, but he needed Saudi bases to do it, and the Saudis said no. In part, by the way, because the Iranians lashed out when we began to reopen the strait and hit Gulf countries, and Trump said, "Oh, this is no big deal," because he didn't want to start a big fight again. So, but that made it kind of militarily impossible to reopen it. And then what are you going to do? You're going to wait 6 months with the blockade, with gas prices maybe going above $5 a gallon. I think it was politically impossible. So I think we didn't win the war, and that's the reason why there's a terrible diplomatic deal.
Not even close to winning the war, the fact. And, yesterday was kind of a rough day, too, because here he's in a plane that was given to us by Qatar, and a lot of Americans, not Tucker Carlson, he's made a lot of money, but a lot of Americans don't like this relationship with Qatar. I mean, the fact is they were housing terrorists, still are, Hamas leaders. They live in Qatar, okay? So we're taking a plane from a country that harbors terrorists that help kill Americans and Israelis, of course, in big, big numbers. And then all this talk about the stock, Axon, or whatever that is, I don't know, and the fact that his cryptocurrency company was costing people millions and millions of dollars, but him, Eric, and Donald Jr., they made billions and billions of dollars. So that whole trip yesterday for Teddy Roosevelt to North Dakota wasn't a great look for President Trump. Well, you tell me, maybe I'm wrong.
Well, it's not a great look, and this is something we're going to spend a lot of next year talking about, because I still believe Democrats are going to take the House, and this is going to be their obsession. It's going to be investigations into how Trump and everyone around him has made so much money, and a lot of it's not going to be great.
They're already all over it this morning on MS Now and CNN. That's all they're talking about. But, getting back to the Democrats, and this is why you know this, Rich, I get crazy when I hear people talk about moderate Democrats. You know that. They don't exist. I've said it a billion times. There's one, John Fetterman. That's it. And to be honest, John Fetterman should really take Manchin's advice and at this point just become a Republican. It's silly. Every Democrat, every one of them, if you want to call them moderate Democrats, progressive Democrats, eventually they cave because they want to win. And they can't win without joining the rest of these lunatics. And this DSA stuff, this woman in Colorado a couple of nights ago, Mamdani here, there's now 9 New York politicians that are part of that group. it is sweeping the country. If you're an American and you're not terrified of this, you've got your head in the sand, man. These people are bad, really bad, Rich.
No, absolutely. They hate America. They hate what's made it great, and they have all the momentum in the Democratic Party. And relatively moderate Democrats, maybe we'll put it that way, Democrats who aren't democratic socialists, they have no antibodies against this. They have no courage to fight it. So they could very well nominate a presidential candidate who is this way. If you're AOC, you're an idiot if you don't run for president now.
But in the meantime, Kamala Harris, who was their, I guess she was their nominee, there was no vote. The Democrats, they just threw her in there. She reached out to AOC, and she reached out to Mamdani and 2 or 3 of these other pro-Palestinian DSA candidates because she wants to run, and she knows she needs them. So the question becomes, does AOC now run against Schumer? He won't even run. He'll just retire. Right. She'll take that Senate seat in New York. Let somebody like Harris or Buttigieg be the sacrifice, and then decide to run in 4 years. She's still very, very young.
Yeah, that is a decision. The Senate seat just seems to be hers for the taking if she wants it, but does she want to reach for the brass ring? And Harris, by the way, is just such a soulless hack. This is exactly what she did when she ran the first time around with Bernie Sanders. She thought Bernie was a hot new thing, so she was going to pick up all his ideas. That's what she's going to do with Mamdani and this crew as well.
It's just unbelievable. What makes these people think? I mean, her performance was right there with Curtis Sliwa. No, I'm being serious. Curtis got 7% of the vote, which was the worst showing ever. Mind you, 4 years before that, he also got his ass whooped by Eric Adams. Whooped. And he's all over Dave Portnoy. Curtis should shut the hell up. Seriously. When you get 7%, you do not own the right to make fun of any other candidate. But I'm using him as an example because he lost in embarrassing fashion, right? Loser. Harris lost in embarrassing fashion. She lost every swing state. She lost every popular vote in the country. She only won in states where they had no ID. And these people keep coming back for more. Why? I guess money? Fame? What is it?
I think, when you lose, usually the reaction of your party is like, thank you very much. We don't want to hear from you again. But that hasn't been the reaction with her, and I think it's because they blame Biden. And he does bear a lot of the blame. He had a president who is near senile, decided to run again, screwed up the whole thing, was unpopular. So she's gotten a pass. Now, I think she was a terrible candidate, and if she had a better candidate, she might have won. She lost every swing state. She lost them pretty narrowly. It was still a pretty close election. So if they had someone better, they might have pulled it out. But she's terrible. But I think she's a legit contender. She has a lot of black support. That's important. That the black voters, by and large, in the Democratic presidential primaries, they aren't DSA types. They're relatively moderate. So I hate to say it, she has a chance. It's scary for the country if she would ever be president of the United States, but I think she has a chance to be their nominee again.
And you'll hear Republicans say, oh, that would be great news. And I would just say, be careful what you wish for. Mm-hmm. I used this last night. When the Celtics became a bad basketball team, I forget who the coach was, maybe Patino, I don't even know. And he said, Larry Bird is not walking through that door anytime soon. And President Trump, for all my criticism the last couple of weeks, I still think he's the best, and I love him. And I'm going to cry like a baby when he's done. So President Trump is not walking through those doors anytime soon. And I have to tell you, it's anecdotal. It's just me, Sid Rosenberg. But I talked to a lot of people the last 2 weeks between Israel and 7,000 miles away here in New York. Nobody that I speak to, nobody would rather have J.D. Vance as our nominee than Marco Rubio. Not one person.
Yeah, everyone I've talked to, I haven't met a Republican who doesn't like Marco Rubio. I have met some that don't like J.D. Vance, just anecdotally. But I don't think Marco's running.
Me either.
I think J.D. will be the nominee. I think there'll be
But let me stop you for a second. No, I agree with you, and I don't think Marco is running because, and maybe I'm wrong, you know more about this than I do, because I think that's what President Trump wants. Is that not right?
I don't know. It's a little hard to read. I think in the abstract, he'd kind of like both of them to run so he can do the thing for a year. Who do you guys want me to support? And so have both of them on a string and have the competition. But Marco, he cut, for all our criticisms of Trump and what he's done in Iran lately, the Lebanon deal is fantastic. Who did that? Marco Rubio. That's a real consequential thing. He's in a really important big job that he loves and he's doing well at. So why would he, 7 months from now or whatever it is, get in a rented car and drive around Iowa?
I get it. Look, and look, I love Marco. I love him to pieces, and I want him to be the guy. But that Lebanon deal, really, Israel just struck Lebanon again the last couple of days. You know that, right? Last night, we hit him again. You know that, right? I say we, Israel, but we hit him again. You know that, right?
Yeah, but this is so much better than what's in the MOE.
Oh, I understand, but,
and it's an alliance with the Lebanese government against Hezbollah.
I know.
It's not a magic wand, but it's a step forward. But look, I think the only thing that's going to stop JD likely is if for some reason Trump decides he doesn't like him, or he wants to screw him, or he wants to just pull the rug out from under him. That's plausible. Otherwise, I think he's very likely to be the nominee. And the problem is, can he reignite the Trump coalition the way Trump does? No one can do that. Where is he going to add to the coalition? It's hard to see where it is. And Trump's probably not going to be very popular. Maybe there's an economic boom and things have changed, but probably 42-ish approval. So it's going to be really tough, and it would depend on the Democrats nominating someone who's unacceptable, which they very well could do.
Final 90 seconds, Rich Lowry. How do you think this Iran thing ends, and what has to happen?
I'm not sure. I think it just kind of bumps along. I don't think Trump's going to wage a major war against them again. I think they're going to keep yanking our chain in the Strait of Hormuz. And they love renegotiating things they've supposedly agreed to. So if they can keep us just negotiating with them about what actually is happening in the Strait, you don't even get to the nuclear stuff. And they figure next year, as we were alluding to earlier, Trump's going to be really distracted and taken down a notch because the midterms are going to be terrible, and then they're home free. Now, look, a lot of their stuff is still wrecked. It's going to take a lot of time to rebuild, but they will have survived.
He's got to stop at these ridiculous meetings, too. Stop. Doha yesterday. And, I don't know Steve Witkoff. I know his kid, Alex. He's a nice kid. He's in the Holocaust Memorial Council with me. Trump appointed both of us. But everybody that I know that knows Steve Witkoff likes him. But he has no right doing these types of things. He's a real estate guy sitting in a room with a bunch of people that want to kill us. He has no right. And the truth is that him and Kushner have done nothing. Nothing. And when I hear there's a meeting coming up, I got to be honest, Rich, I start to laugh. What a waste of time. Enough with the stupid meetings. They are not going to work. And I'll say to you what I said to a very large Fox News audience, which I shocked Rachel Campos, Duffy, Charlie Hurt, I know you saw this, and Grip Jenkins on Sunday morning. Iran will never do a deal, ever. And if they do a deal, much like they did with Obama and Kerry, they will never comply. Never, ever, ever. So let's stop with the meetings. Let's stop trying to pull the wool over the Americans' eyes. Let's be honest about this and either send everybody home and call it a day and work on the Dow Jones and jobs, or bomb the shizzle out of them. That's it. Am I wrong, Rich? That's it.
I can't say you're wrong.
But you didn't say I was right.
No, I think you're right. The problem is he's not going to bomb the shizzle out of him.
Why not? Why not?
It was an unpopular war, right? So he doesn't want to start it again. He's made a big deal about it being over, so it's even harder now.
But it's not over. You got to be an idiot to think it's over. How do you start something and not finish?
Because we couldn't reopen the Strait of Hormuz, so he was just stuck. We're back to the word you used over and over again. He was stuck. So he had to find a way out, and he found an inadequate way out. And I just don't see what the realistic alternative is.
What do you think comes first? I'll let you go here. The Iran war ends, or the Yankees win a baseball game?
Welcome to being a Yankee fan, Sid. This is part of the team's identity. The last 4 or 5 years, the swoon in June or July. We'll eventually win a game again. But there is a scenario where this team is just not as good as it seemed it was at the beginning of the year. If Judge doesn't come back, it's a catastrophe. And the whole thing's over. And I love Ben Rice. But he's regressing towards mean. Maybe Paul Goldschmidt, again, is kind of giving out as the months add up in the calendar. Austin Wells, I love, but apparently is not a major league hitter, so it's bad. I mean, the last 7 games, we were averaging two runs a game and 4 hits. And what was it yesterday?
No, it's terrible.
2 runs. I think we got 7 hits.
Yeah,
but.
and on top of that, what is going on with Cam? He can't pitch the last couple of games.
Yeah, well, when that happens, you kind of worry. Is he really hurt?
Yeah.
Is there something going on there, or is he also regressing towards the mean? So we'll see. It's a long season. We can take at least some enjoyment if you're a Mets hater, which you are now, Sid, in the Juan Soto playing that ball into a Little League home run.
Please.
That made my whole week.
Nah, he's a dick. We put that in the not review. Sid Rosenberg just called Juan Soto a dick. We'll do this lunch after July 4th, okay, buddy? I love you. Thank you so much.
Enjoy the 4th.
You too. There he is, the great editor from the National Review, the great Rich Lowry, as we get this Thursday show going, really a Friday show on Sid and Friends in the morning.
Sid and Friends in the morning on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Thank you to Johnny Tobacco, who sent me a very nice text, called me the GOAT. Said Stern and I missed for there years ago, but now you're the GOAT with the Hall of Fame induction coming up. Thank you for that, Johnny. We've got 2 great guests coming up in a row. Lots of activity around the NBA. Mitchell Robinson, very popular Knickerbocker the last couple of years, was on our team. We just won the championship. He's gone. Mitchell Robinson is no longer a Knick. We'll talk to Brian Geltzeiler about all the moves around the NBA. But coming up next, a lot of folks in this city, specifically cops and firefighters, are very upset with this new budget put out yesterday by Mamdani and Menon. Why? Because, once again, Mamdani at the last second wiped out the opportunity to add more police to a force that at least some say are losing too many too soon. He is once again, congratulations, the SBA president, my friend Vincent Vallelong, on a whole bunch of cop stuff. He joins us next.
The playoffs are here, and you can predict the action all the way to the finals with FanDuel Predicts. Predict the spread, the total points, and even the game-winning moments that make the playoffs. Sign up and get a $25 bonus with FanDuel Predicts.
Offered by FanDuel Prediction Markets, LLC, a registered futures commission merchant. 18-plus bonus is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Trading derivatives involves significant risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Manage your activity with their consumer protection tools. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/predicts/bonus-offer-terms.
This episode is brought to you by Accenture. When your advertising operations fall out of sync, everything else follows. Spotify and Accenture are working together to reinvent the rhythm of ad sales, using automation, analytics, and smarter workflows to simplify campaign delivery and access better data across the business. The result? Less time spent on operations, more time connecting brands with the moments and fandoms that matter most. Learn more at Accenture.com/Spotify.
This episode is brought to you by Starbucks.
That is fire. Whoa, that's good.
This might be the drink of the summer.
Okay, I like this one too. I'm rocking with it. Okay.
Try it for yourself. Starbucks Refreshers Concentrates are coming home. Find them in the coffee aisle and make it yours.
Sid and Friends in the morning on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Our great city councilman out of Staten Island, Frank Morano.
The mayor's behavior, forget about spending more money than most countries spend. The mayor's behavior, and just in terms of being an honest broker, it's abominable. If you're spending $126 billion and still can't find room for more cops or a 5th firefighter, I think your priorities are way out of order. This budget spends like there's no tomorrow, and unfortunately, the taxpayers still have to live in tomorrow, and we're going to have to pay the bill for a lot of this nonsense next year and the year after that. The city is spending like it won the lottery, and the budget got bigger, but we didn't get any safer. I mean, think of how much larger this budget is than just last year, $10 billion. Wow. Did we get $10 billion more worth of services of public safety? Of course not.
Frank Morano. So let me get to Vincent Vallelong, who remains the president of the Sergeants Benevolent Association. He elected again to be their president, so congratulations. He's a great guy, great cop. Congratulations, Vin, and something tells me you agree with Frank Morano that at the very best, this mayor is a liar. Yes?
He's more than a liar. He's a deceitful individual.
Wow.
And it seems as if that he's pulled the rug out from everybody, every city council member, with regards to this budget. And if he did it with the cops at the last minute, the real big question should be right now is, what else is hidden inside this budget that they did not look at? Were they asleep at the wheel when they were supposed to be doing their jobs? And if they let him do this, who he is considered technically a neophyte in this position, if the senior people let him do this, I hold them accountable. Every single one of them. There are ones that are standing up and screaming and yelling. That's all well and fine. But what this budget did was make every single New Yorker a lot less safe.
I mean, when you say a lot less safe, because I do talk to Jessica, as you know, Tish. She's a good friend, very good friend. We're very close.
I'm not fighting that one, right?
No, I know you're not. But when Eric Adams left, there was like 31,000 cops. Eric Adams did not go out of his way to hire more cops. You understand that. Now, unless somebody's lying to me, I believe right now there's about 34,000. But I'm also aware that about 3,000 or 4,000 are about to walk out, and I have no idea how many are going to walk in. I get all that. But in this budget, as far as I know, Vince, they're only going to add 580 cops, not 5,000, not 10,000, 580. I know they wanted a fifth firefighter as well. Now, I'm not okay not adding one cop, not adding one, let alone almost 600, but it was 580, right? Not 5,000.
If you do not if you do not make police officers, you cannot make supervisors. And when all of the top minds of this job are leaving in retirement, who is to hand down that knowledge to the younger guys? You are now a year behind in hiring people, which is in essence what it is that's going to be done. 580 was really a minimal number. I mean, they needed a lot more than that. Everybody knows that. We can say 34,000. We can say 35,000. But the reality of it is, we need boots on the ground. We need the cops. The cops are burning the candle at both ends. They are exhausted. They're doing these extended tours. And yeah, listen, that's part of our job, and I get it, and I'm not crying about that. But where's the reinforcements? When are they coming? Because you know what? They're not. And he ran on defunding the police. That is what it is he is doing. You can give me all the political BS you want, okay? But that is exactly what this is here. And he told everybody he was putting the minimal amount of police officers in, and then totally stabbed every single one of them in the back and pulled it out of the budget.
He did. And you know what he did, Vince? This son of a bitch? Because nobody hates this guy more than I do. I mean, you're right there with me. But he did it, according to Frank and others, like midnight a couple of nights ago. Why did he do that? Because at that point, it was too late. It was too late for the city council members to come back and do something about it.
So listen, I don't have a personal problem with the speaker. Okay, so I just want to get that out there right away. But you even correct me if I'm wrong. You were on the show a couple of months ago. You even at one point levied a lawsuit against Julie Menon, right? Well, I filed an ethics complaint.
Right.
All right. So, but if I have to be the watchdog, and I'm a cop, what is everybody else doing when they're watching all of this stuff happen? They're going after the likes of Vicky Palladino, right? And but they're held to a different standard. She's in that position to be the counter to the mayor. And as far as I'm concerned, even if she got it at the last minute, she could have paused this. They didn't have to have that budget done immediately. She could have paused it and said, you know what? Nope, we're not taking this to a vote. We're going to bring everybody back in, and we're going to look through this whole entire budget. She's the checks and balances, and she did not do her job, is the way I see it.
So you're placing blame on Julie Menon on this?
I'm placing blame on the whole city council. I'm not placing blame on one individual, but she's the sheriff in town. She's supposed to be the one that's supposed to keep everybody in line.
So, Vinny, tell me this. How many cops are set to walk out this year? And some of these guys, correct me if I'm wrong, it's gotten so bad in this city. We all know you're not making millions, okay? And you get no respect from the mayor and the rest of these lunatics in and around him. And about 45 of the 51 council members don't give a rat's ass about you guys. So the cops know it. So a lot of these guys are walking out even before they get their pensions. How many cops do you expect to walk out by the end of the year?
I can give you what it is in my rank. Okay, and just an example. This month we had 35 people promoted to sergeant. You had 20 people promoted to lieutenant. Now this is basic math. That leaves me with 15 extra supervisors for the whole entire city. And then you had 81 sergeants right now in rank that filed for retirement. That leaves us at a negative 66.
Wow.
Where are you making those numbers up within this next year where you want to put basically a hiring freeze on everybody?
Wow.
That and Sid, that comes at a cost to the citizens of this city. You know, the people that are putting money into the city are expecting a product, and they're not getting that product. You can give away all the free stuff you want, you know, and you could put a freeze on housing and everything else, but at the end of the day, you can't put a freeze on violent crimes.
Tell me about the morale with the sergeants. I don't expect you to tell me the morale for the whole police department. I'll talk to Jessica about that, and I'll talk to Scott Monroe about the detectives. But in terms of the sergeants, everybody I talk to says to me, the morale with the police is way down, way down. Every rank, every file, just about every cop in the city, not exactly walking around feeling great. What is the truth about the morale with your people?
You have a lot more work being dumped on these guys. You have desk officers, just as an example, have absolutely more responsibility, more paper in order to push across the desk, you know, and less people to help them out to do it. So how do you think morale is going to be when you're doing somewhere between 10-hour, 12-hour tour? You know, you're exhausted. You're doing them day after day, and then you know you're expected to do more work, and then someone's going to come in and they're actually going to give you a command discipline, which is like a complaint on, you know, because you didn't do your job. You know, there's no room for error, it seems. You know, and the littlest thing that happens, these guys are afraid that they're going to get either transferred or they're going to get in trouble.
Oh, we saw that a couple of months ago with that one cop who was being critical of the Democrats, and he got transferred like that night, I think. And then what's going on with Eric Duran? What's the latest with that?
I spoke with him the other day. His spirits are good. We've been raising money for his legal defense still, and you know, listen, Arthur Idell is doing a great job with him. You know, the best thing to do is just keep Eric's spirits up. You know, until the trial's going along. I mean, not the trial, but they're preparing their appeal, and until that happens, you know, we won't have a decision. But you know, he's home with his family. And he's having, you know, he's enjoying the time with them. You know, it's very precious to him.
Vincent Vallelong is the SBA president. In all transparency, he's also a good friend of mine. Vin, tell me how you get young kids to want to be cops in this city, because at least on this show, almost every conversation is bad. It's bad. You know, the mayor hates us and hates you guys, and plenty of other officials hate you as well, and you're down on the city council speaker, and you know, it just doesn't seem like it's a very attractive job these days. How do you guys, the veterans who have lived and breathed this job your whole lives, how do you guys get young kids motivated to want this job?
You tell them about the experiences that you had. You need to show them that there is a light at the end of the tunnel with this, and what you're doing is actually good for the people that you protect day in and day out. I know that's, you know, it seems a little like a cliche, but, you know, I didn't have to grab my son by the ear and make him take this job. You know, I have 4 kids. One of them became a cop, you know, and, you know, in today's day and age, everyone says, oh, well, why are you putting him in this job? You know, no one wants it. Well, there's a problem with that when no one wants it. You know, when you're bringing young kids into a job and making them work tireless hours over and over again, and there is not enough people to handle these jobs, of course you're going to be down on what it is you do. But this is the greatest city in the world. You know, it should sell itself. We shouldn't be having these politicians that create like this gloom and doom, or, you know, that they force feed their politics down your throat. How do you get them to take the job? You know what? Again, you have to tell them it is really, it's a great job to raise a family with. You know, at the end of the day, you get to, you know, it's enough money for you to put your kids through school. Yes, you have to sometimes take a second job, but you know that's reality. That's what life is. But I will tell you this before we go off at some point. Congratulations on your Hall of Fame.
Thank you.
And I also set my temperature to 63.
Yeah, good for you. F the mayor is 78 degrees. What is he, nuts? Last one. I remember when he won, and you were writing op-eds and coming into the studio with me, and you were hesitant to really kill him. I know you hated him, but maybe I shouldn't say that, but that's how I felt. But you were willing to give the guy a chance. Do you realize it's only been 7 months? 7 months of a 4-year term, and he's already campaigning and planning for the next 4. And I'm sorry, but Dave Portnoy and Curtis Sliwa, they're not beating Mamdani. So it looks like he may be a shoo-in to win again. 7 months. Is he as bad, not as bad, worse than you thought when he won back in January?
There is nothing that sells me on him being a true leader of the city. You can't balance a budget. When you do balance a budget, it's supposed to be you're correcting past spending and moving forward, not dumping, not raising money someplace else or getting freebies from a governor and then turning that over and giving them out to people who bring nothing back into the tax base. Do I have any faith in him? I'd like to, but 7 months in, I have absolutely none.
And in terms of the way he's treated the cops, like you said, he campaigned on defunding the police. He's really doing that. He really is. Right?
It's my understanding. He's a nice guy when you talk to him, but I haven't talked to him 7 months in. He doesn't really care about what the opinion is of the people who are actually doing this job day in and day out. So how do I have any respect for someone who doesn't care what it is that I actually do, but is making decisions on what it is?
You don't. That's the bottom line. Vinny, I love you. Congratulations on, again, being the president of the SBA. I couldn't think of a better guy for that job. You're an amazing man, a great cop, and New Yorkers love you. They don't love Mamdani. I know he won. But trust me when I tell you, the majority of New Yorkers don't love this guy, but they love you. Thank you, Vinny.
Thanks, Sid.
God bless you. Vincent Vallelong right there, the president of the SBA, and he's pissed, and he should be pissed. He's pissed at Julie Menon. He's pissed at the city council. He's pissed at Mamdani. I'm sure he's pissed at a couple of big wigs in the NYPD as well. Because, yes, in this $126 billion budget, $126 billion budget, they couldn't find a way to add one cop. Not one. Or that 5th firefighter. Disgraceful. Shame on you, Mr. Mayor. Shame on you, Mr. Mayor.
Hey, parents. How do you make smarter choices for your kids' college today? That's where Sally can help. With Sally, you can find scholarships, funding options, tools, and guidance all in one place. And if you need a loan, Sally has options for different families and different situations. College is only worth it if you do it right. So don't just help your kid go. Help them go smarter. Sally.com/GoParents.
Want to elevate your travel experience? Here's how. With a Delta SkyMiles Reserve American Express card, you can relax before your flight in the Delta Sky Club with up to 15 visits per medallion year. And now through July 15th, 2026, you can earn up to 125,000 bonus miles, so you're closer to your next adventure. The Delta SkyMiles Reserve card. Check out the new design at www.delta.com/Spotify. Minimum spending requirements and terms apply.
Welcome to a new era of baseball's great spectacle, the T-Mobile Home Run Derby, live on Netflix. The biggest sluggers in baseball put their talents to the test on All-Star Weekend. Raw power meets star power. Big swagger meets bigger slams. And you don't swing to make contact. You swing to make history. Watch the T-Mobile Home Run Derby live on Netflix, Monday, July 13th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific.
Sid and Friends in the morning on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
So these cops, like Vallelong just talked about, and John Shell knows as well, they're working doubles, who knows, maybe triples, and the mayor just delayed their holiday pay. He is such a piece of garbage. He's garbage. He's a disgusting human being. I hate his guts. But I do like Brian Geltzeiler. I like Brian for years. He's on the NBA channel on Sirius XM, and we'll take a little break from all the political stuff. Talk NBA with my friend Brian. Brian, good morning, buddy. How are you?
I'm great, Sid. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing well. So Stephen A. Smith got a little hot water because he talked about the Lakers now basically being a white team, that their three best players are all white because LeBron James has decided not to come back. And he's right. They got Luka Doncic, he's white. They got Austin Reeves, he's white. So three white guys have become the face of the Lakers. People think you can't win in the NBA if that's the case. Could be funny, could be not, I don't know. But LeBron James looks like Golden State, Miami, or Cleveland. Do you have a pick?
I think it's going to be Golden State, but I don't know how prominent Miami is in this mix, Sid. The vibes I'm getting and what I'm hearing is that it's either going to be Golden State or Cleveland. Interesting thing with both of those teams in the offseason, Draymond Green opted out of the last year of his contract. He is a Clutch Sports client, which is obviously Rich Paul and LeBron's firm. And the whole idea there is to free up enough money to give LeBron something to entice him to come there. And money's not going to be a huge part of this, and there's not going to be huge money in this for LeBron. This is about going somewhere where he's got a chance to win and chance to enjoy finishing his career. So Draymond Green's done that, and then James Harden did the same thing in Cleveland. He declined his player option, and his idea is to get more years added on at less money per year, allowing the Cavs to be able to fit LeBron in. So you had both of those moves there. The problem with Miami is they're capped at the first apron because of this Giannis trade, and they just don't have a lot of room for him. Now, again, money's not going to be prominent in all of this, but I do think LeBron going somewhere with people he wants to be around and spend time with. I know LeBron is I spent a lot of time in October in Cleveland with that organization, a full 6 hours one day. I know this. They're very fond of LeBron James personally.
No, listen.
Would love to have him
of
back.
course.
Love to have him back.
That's his home.
LeBron, Curry, Draymond, those are his buddies. He'd have a blast doing that. So I think it's going to be one of those two teams.
All right, there you go. He says either Golden State or Cleveland. Brian Geltzeiler on LeBron James. The Knicks, we said goodbye yesterday to one of our more popular players, not even a starter, but he's been there for so many years and came up big even in moments coming off the bench in this championship run. Mitchell Robinson is gone. But the funny part is, not only is Mitchell Robinson gone, but he goes to the nemesis, the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, listen, Knicks did not have a wonderful morning yesterday morning in trying to keep this thing together and give themselves a backup center. Because ultimately, James Dolan doesn't want to go into the second apron. Now, what does that mean? It essentially means Dolan doesn't care about paying the luxury tax money. They print money at MSG, Sid. You know that. The thing for Jim Dolan that bothers him here is the roster restrictions and the lack of flexibility when you go into the second apron. So the Knicks did make a decision that they were not going to bring back Mitchell Robinson. And with that said, I don't think they thought he was going to end up on the Celtics. So that wasn't necessarily an ideal scenario for the Knicks there. But the other thing that happened quietly is, listen, we saw Ariel Hukporti play a little bit in the finals, and he looked bad. And to me, I thought that he was the best choice to promote to replace Mitchell Robinson. See if that works, especially if Warren going to go into the second apron, come to the trade deadline, you got to get a backup center. You can. Hukporti, the Knicks, they declined his option thinking they could bring him back on a cheaper number because, again, the Knicks' margins with the second apron are slim, and the Sixers swooped in and grabbed him at a little bit of a number above. And now the Knicks are in a little bit of a pickle trying to find a backup center. May have to make a trade to do that because it's a vital spot for them in how this team is constructed and how this team plays.
Yeah, especially with Cat. He always gets into foul trouble early on, needs some big bodies on the court.
Correct.
And you mentioned Hukporti going to Philadelphia. And listen, I know we keep talking up Philly every year, and Embiid and Maxey. They brought in Harden. They brought in Paul George. This is a completely different animal. They get Jaylen Brown from the Boston Celtics. And I'm sorry, but if you can go to war with Embiid, Jaylen Brown, Maxey, they've got other good players on that basketball team, I think this may finally be the year where the 76ers are legit.
Here's what I mean, listen, this was a home run deal for the Philadelphia 76ers. What I love about it is Jaylen Brown is the kind of lead guy to go with Tyrese Maxey that makes them Embiid-proof. Embiid, listen, Embiid, you know it's going to happen. He's going to get hurt at the wrong time. He always does. And listen, I'm not killing the guy. He's a wonderful player when he's on the floor. He's just not on the floor all that much. And Philly's in a bad situation with him contract-wise, but they've essentially built a team that makes his contract gravy. This backcourt of Therese Maxey and B.J. Edgecombe is fantastic. And then you look at putting Jaylen Brown in that mix, you will beat a lot of teams without Joel Embiid on the floor. And by the way, they got themselves a nice backup center in Ariel Hukporti.
Right, they got Hukporti.
Going to be able to fill that role there. Yeah. So that'll work nicely for them too. They signed Dean Wade yesterday morning in free agency, who's a very good defensive player. Didn't make a lot of threes for the Cavs in the playoffs, but has the potential to be a very good three-point shooter. A 6'10" wing. Philly is tough, man. Philly's going to be really, really good. And listen, it's very interesting because we were looking at the Celtics with Tatum and Brown, thinking they could be a challenge once again to the Knicks next year. Philly's going to be a much bigger challenge than they are. That's
what I told Alec this morning. He disagreed with me. I told you, Justin, Philly's going to be the bigger challenge. Although Boston, again, Tatum comes back healthy this year. He was not really healthy most of the year last year. They did add Mitchell Robinson. I'm not sure what Paul George has left, but obviously when you lose Brown, you don't win adding Robinson and George, but a healthy Jason Tatum, White is still there. They could still be very, very good.
I agree, Sid, and I think people are piling on the Celtics this morning. The Celtics put themselves in a very, very bad spot by not being willing to pony up enough in these Giannis talks. And once the fact that they floated Jaylen Brown publicly in a Giannis deal, this was after Jaylen Brown went on his crazy Twitch stream as soon as their season ended and kind of turned everybody off in Boston. Then you get the analytics community and said, I don't know if you saw what happened over the weekend on X, but Bobby Marks, ESPN's front office insider, who's a fantastic analyst in terms of the NBA, does a terrific job, came on my show with me and Sam Mitchell, and Bobby made a comment that he spoke to an analytics guy in one of the front offices of the league who said that Jaylen Brown, from an analytics standpoint, is a seventh best player on a team. And again, the numbers on the spreadsheet don't make Jaylen Brown look wonderful. We don't play the game on the spreadsheet. We play it on the basketball court. The guy is a killer and he matches up great with people, but there's a lot of analytics guys that look at those numbers and want to stay away. That and then Brown went at Bobby Marks on Twitter in a very aggressive way. And that kind of stuff turned teams off. I know that for a fact. Is that, what exactly are we bringing into our program with this guy? Because, again, had a great year with Boston. Everything should be happy. He said he had his most fun year, but doesn't seem all that happy with the Celtics. What Boston did here is they had a rapidly shrinking market for Jaylen Brown. And they figured, you know what? We bring PG in. We've gotten some reinforcements with Robinson here. We're keeping Derek White. We have some young guys that we think can get better. Even if we take a step back this year, we added valuable draft capital that we can use with George's expiring contract to upgrade this team. Here's the other point no one's making about this deal, Sid. All right? The Boston had this, alpha dog problem. Whose team is it? And it was always going to be Tatum's team. And then they had this surprising year last year where Jaylen Brown was an MVP candidate and had this super year. And now all of a sudden, they don't know whose team it is. They want it to be Jason Tatum's team. They didn't want it to be Jaylen Brown's team. And they were rightfully afraid of Jaylen Brown trying to hijack that. And you think his value is bad now? He comes to training camp and stirs everything up. And him and Tatum are not exactly cooking his peas and carrots. And by the way, I don't think Tatum's right about everything either. Jaylen Brown was, I know for a fact, not all that happy that Jason Tatum chose to not play in Game 7 of the Philly series in the first round when maybe he could have. Now, listen, Tatum just came back from an Achilles injury. I understand that, but there was definitely something there. You never heard Jason Tatum once with all the stuff going on with Jaylen Brown going, hey, keep my guy here. I want him. So they're trying to avoid something here, and they took cents on the dollar to avoid it.
Yeah, kind of like Judge and Soto with the Yankees. Toronto may be better. They bring back Kawhi Leonard. He won a championship there a couple of years ago with the former Knickerbockers, Quickly and R.J. Barrett. But one more on the Knicks we'll let you run, Brian, and that is they did lose Mitchell Robinson to the Celtics, but they kept for 4 years our assassin coming off the bench. Landry's still here. Landry Shamit's still here.
You know what? It's a super deal value-wise for the Knicks. $6 million a year for what that guy brings. He's going to shoot 40% from three and became a good defensive player. That's an absolute bargain. And the thing is, for the Knicks, they don't need a really big, long wing off the bench because they have long wings in the starting lineup in OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges. So the wing they bring in could be a little bit smaller. So Shamet is a perfect fit for this team. And listen, they essentially prioritize Shamet over Huck Porty. And as long as they find a way to fill the backup center spot, that should play out okay and look good. Listen, I know Knicks fans would have loved if Jim Dolan would have gone into the second apron. I probably think for the year they could have and not really handcuff themselves that much. But also with the way these league rules are, I understand why he didn't because of the restrictions. With all that said, finding a way to stay under the second apron and bring back Landry Shamet was a very nice job by Leon Rose in that front office.
What are you hearing about Kelly Oubre possibly to the Knicks? Did you hear that?
No, Oubre signed already with Indiana yesterday.
Oh, he did? Okay. That was yesterday. Okay, there you have it.
2-year deal with Indiana yesterday. Yeah, I mean, Sid, right now, these deals are flying in fast and furious. It's very, very fluid in the NBA this time of year.
I love it. That's why you're going to be back again next week, and maybe LeBron will decide sooner than later. I think he wants to. So this was a great job today, Brian Geltzeiler. We'll do it again next week. Sirius XM NBA Radio. Great NBA guy, terrific guy as well. Brian Geltzeiler. Brian, thank you so much.
It is always my pleasure, my guy. Reach out anytime. We will talk soon.
My man, love you. Brian Geltzeiler right here on Sid and Friends in the Morning. We'll take a break. Still lots more to do.
I wrote a little song to remind you. Choice Hotels get you more of the experiences you value. The Cambria Hotel's got it all. A rooftop bar, have a ball. Bring a date, your squad, or even your mom. Book direct at choicehotels.com.
Wow! A Lego set is a gift that always clicks. And clicks. Watch out! And clicks. For kids who love adventure, choose a Lego set. A gift that always clicks.
Suffering from dry, tired, irritated eyes? Don't let dry eyes win. Use Sustain Pro. It hydrates, restores, and protects dry eyes for up to 12 hours. Sustain Pro. Triple action dry eye relief.
Sid and Friends in the morning on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
I don't think I'm going to do it. I really don't. But, a lot of people jumping in. Michael Rappaport wants to run, and we've heard who else? I guess Lizzie Savetsky. She talked about it, and maybe Jessica Tisch. I don't know. But Bruce Blakeman was on with Stuart Varney on Fox News yesterday. Did a great interview. Bruce is going to win. He's going to beat Kathy Hochul. And Varney brought up working with the mayor. And in this conversation, you got to get the audio. Justin, Lynn just sent it to us. No, Rios did, I'm sorry. And in the conversation, Sid Rosenberg and Dave Portnoy came up as potential mayors that Bruce Blakeman would love to work with. Interesting, right? I mean, I really haven't talked about this. And other people come on and talk about it more than I do. But it is interesting. Well, they just hate this Mamdani. This idea that he's so popular, and he is amongst his party. He's become the face of the Democrat Party. The moderate Dems are dead. They're gone. They don't exist. The face of that party is Mamdani. And now there are Mamdanis, even Mamdanis with vaginas, like the girl in Colorado, popping up all over the country. Scary. This son of a bitch is taking over. AOC and all of them. Let me take a break. We'll talk to KT McFarland, Bill O'Reilly, maybe Hall of Fame linebacker Brian Urlacher as well.
Sid and Friends in the morning on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
This boat parade every year around July the 4th, they dedicated it for a couple of years to my dad because my dad died on July the 1st 6 years ago. So the boat parade is this weekend. I'll be there. I know Tommy wants me to get involved. I don't know. I got a lot going on. But at any rate, good luck. I'll be there. The boat parade, Tommy Gelb and his family do a great job. They are great Americans. They love President Trump. They love this country. And they do a great job upstate for us. So, Tommy, thank you so much. KT McFarland. So here's the deal, KT. So my job the last couple of weeks has been to take people like you, who are much smarter than me, I admit it, much smarter, to take people like you and have you admit that I've been right using the word stuck, nowhere, those words the last couple of months to describe where we are with the Iran war. In fact, I sat down on the curvy couch on Sunday, and I think I shocked the hell out of Rachel Campos, Duppy, and Charlie Hurt and Griff Jenkins, because I think they expected me to say, hey, we won, we're doing great, and we're not. We're not. If you want to use a Dow Jones as a measure, I guess. But that's not the measure. We're not. So the question is, KT, can I get you to admit that we have not won anything at this point, anything, and that right now we are basically stuck?
No, and I don't understand. Why do you think we've lost?
I didn't say we lost, but we didn't win. There's a big difference between we've lost and we won. We won nothing. We won nothing. The Strait of Hormuz was open before we started this. We made this problem. The naval blockade wasn't there before we started this. We made that problem. Now, you want to sell me on Midnight Hammer? That was amazing. It was perfect. We really did knock out their centrifuges. They can't even enrich this uranium. That was a tremendous effort. You want to tell me Operation Epic Fury was great? I agree with that too. But the last 2 months, these constant ceasefires, which is ridiculous because we're still firing at each other, these constant extensions. No, for the last 2 months, we've done nothing. Nothing. That's my point.
Okay, first of all, as far as ceasefire negotiations go, or negotiating while you have a ceasefire, there's a long history of a lot of fighting, tit for tat fighting going on during the negotiations. And I remember being with Kissinger when we were negotiating the end of the Vietnam War, and we were negotiating for 2 years, and there was fighting throughout. But in the end, you got a deal. Now, when I look at sort of objectively, okay, what have we achieved? And you're right, Operation Midnight Hammer, Operation Epic Fury, particularly Operation Economic Fury, has put Iran in a position where there's no way they win anything. Their proxies are diminished, maybe not all of Hezbollah.
Hold on a second. I don't care what Iran's economic situation is. I care about America. Now, the Dow Jones is up and the S&P is up, but guess what? Goods are still too expensive. Interest rates are still high. Inflation is still high. What do I care what Iran looks like and economically? That's not going to stop them, KT, and you know better. That's not going to stop them from continuing to get weapons from other countries, money from other countries, and continue this nonsense.
Well, where are they getting the money? They're not getting the money from any other country.
Oh, sure they are. Sure they are. Sure they are.
China at a discounted price. The assets are all still frozen. The money is now moving as Iran sells its oil in dollars, which means that we now can have visibility of it because it has to go through American banks, and we can see who's buying it, for how much are they paying, where's the money going once Iran achieves it. And as far as the economic part of it, where I think your main complaint is that it's screwed the American people economically, I would disagree with that. The price of oil this morning was $57 a barrel. That's half of what it was during Biden, and it's starting to come down dramatically. Oil national average price of oil is under $4 a gallon. You and I live in New York, so it's a bit, sort of 4 and plus. But throughout the country, it's at sort of $3.50, $3.70, $3.80. That's going down because the price of oil remains down. As Iran is selling its oil, in a funny way, that helps our economy because it puts more money, more oil in the world, and that drives supply and demand. It drives down the price of oil. So if I'm looking at sort of what's Iran gotten out of this, what have we gotten out of this, and what is the long-term prospect for the United States, I would say Iran doesn't have nuclear weapons. So that doesn't threaten. Well, maybe they weren't ready to threaten the United States with nuclear weapons because they didn't have long-range missiles, but they have medium-range missiles, which could have hit Europe, certainly could have hit Israel. Their nuclear weapons program is decimated. Their missile program, where they were trying to build missiles that could reach the United States, that's gone. Their ability to reconstitute their networks, their Hezbollah, Hamas, et cetera networks, I think that's greatly diminished. Israel's taken a lot of chunks out of Hezbollah. Israel got a deal last week, an agreement with Lebanon. Lebanon now recognizes that now Hezbollah is the odd man out, right? It's Israel plus Lebanon against Hezbollah. That's a good thing. Hamas is almost gone. The peace plan, the Gaza peace plan is proceeding. So I'm looking at this, and these are all wins. Now, do we have some surrender document where they're signing on the dotted line? No. But the American economy is in pretty good shape and going to get better.
Yeah, that is true. What you just said is 100% true. But when we started this war, at least back then, it wasn't about the American economy. Now, it's great that that has become a byproduct of all of this. And you're right. They the nuclear stuff, but they still have the dust. Now, I know that we hurt them badly when we hammered them during Midnight Hammer, but they still have it. And the Strait, they do run that Strait. It's not us. The naval blockade did a terrific job.
I mean, they run one. They're free lanes in the Strait. They run theirs. And there's the Oman side of it. We're running that. Ships are going in and out. What, like 160, 70, 80, 100 a day are going out? And all that pent-up oil on the tankers is now flooding into the market. And as far as the dust, we see who's going into those, cratered mountains. We know if they're going to try to get in there. They're not tricky enough to somehow dig a 5,000-mile tunnel where they're going to get at the dust. So is the dust buried? Has the dust been accounted for? Yeah, we'll get there, but it's gone. They're not using that enriched uranium to make weapons, and they don't have any missiles to deliver those weapons. So I'm looking at all that, and I'm thinking, okay, in the fullness of time, what's likely to happen next? If Iran decides it's going to spend its money on Hezbollah and Hamas and death to America, then the Iranian people, who were pretty angry about their economy 6 months ago, are going to be really angry about their economy now. It's not getting any better for the Iranian people.
But they can't do anything about it. They're not armed. They shot down 40,000 in the street.
Yeah, but we'll see them this time around. And guess what? They start shooting 40,000 tomorrow. I would think the United States could have a reaction, a military reaction, an economic reaction, but a reaction. They're not going to get away with shooting 50,000 people in the streets with the whole world watching.
I would hope so. Hope not, I should say. So you said to me, what makes you think we're losing? I never said we were losing, but it sounds to me like you think we won.
I think we've already won, and the fact that these negotiations don't have a sign on the dotted line thing is of less concern to me than the several factors that I pointed out. The economic win for the United States, price of oil's down. A lot of the if you look at, say, Iranian oil, where is that going? Well, the whole world was supposed to buy Iranian oil, right, if it ever was unsanctioned. It's been unsanctioned. Who's buying it? Only China, and a big discount. So where are the countries that want to buy oil buying it from? They're buying it from us. They weren't buying it from us before. They were buying it from Iran, Gulf countries. So I think it's terrific for our oil industry, our natural gas industry. The price of oil, as I said, is coming down. We're kind of at that sweet spot where American companies can make money, but it's not so high that it affects us at the gas tank. Now, will the inflation that the Iran war temporarily caused start coming down? I think we're already seeing signs that it is.
Do you think the American people agree with you?
I don't know. I mean, you're the politician, Sid. You're the guy who has the pulse of the
I have
people.
no idea. Listen, the people that I speak to don't agree with you. But in the big numbers, they don't. They think that we're stuck in a mess. We haven't completed anything. And while you're giving us really great stuff here, this is great. And you're making a very, very good point that we have done well. I wouldn't agree with you that we won anything yet, but certainly you're making an argument towards that stage, then we're losing if people think that. But there are very few people I speak to that think that we've won or we're winning or we're doing great. Anecdotal, it's just me, but very few.
No, and I'm sure that a lot of people feel that way. I think the administration's done a pretty lousy job of communicating the successes it's had. But I would also say we're moving on from Iran. So what's going to be next? Cuba's next. And that will be a huge...
hold on. Before you get to Cuba, before you get to Cuba, you said we're moving on from Iran. Do you know where I was last week? I was in Israel for 8 days.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Right. And the last thing the Israelis want to hear is we're moving on from Iran. I said this all week long. At one point last year, President Trump's approval rating in Israel was like 99%. And again, anecdotal. I don't think I spoke to one Israeli that's not angry with President Trump. Not one. Not one. Because they really thought that America was in this to annihilate Iran, not to get the Dow Jones up, not to get oil prices down. They thought they were in this to make sure Iran does not have the capability to make a nuclear weapon and also make sure that Iran was basically done. And that's not close either. And the Israelis are pissed. I'm telling you this.
Okay, so Iran does no longer have the ability to make a nuclear weapon. That should make a lot of Israelis really happy. But number two, obliterate Iran. What's this supposed to mean? This is 91 million people. This is like the people who chant death to Israel. I don't want 91 million Iranians to be obliterated. I
No,
want
they
that
don't
leadership
either.
to be
Right.
gone.
Well,
I want that leadership
right.
to be gone, but we're not going to do it. But
why
we're
not?
not in the regime change.
Why not? Why not? What do you mean we're not in the regime change? Why let the IRGC stays in power? What do you think is going to happen in 5 year's?
I think that the IRGC's days are limited, and the fact that the Iranian people, again, in the fullness of time, what's going to happen in Iran? Fast forward 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. Where's Iran going to be? If it decides to use the money from its oil revenues, which is not as significant as people thought it would be, if it decides it's not going to rebuild bridges and hospitals and better the lot of the Iranian people, they're going back to the streets. And the world will be watching. And like I said, I don't think anybody's going to tolerate the IRGC gunning people down now. So where is Iran in 6 months' time? The Iranian people are angry. Where is the IRGC? We already are seeing splits in the Iranian leadership. There are probably 3 groups in the Iranian leadership right now. One is the IRGC, and those 160,000 guys, they don't want to settle anything. They'd much rather be martyrs for the cause. You then have the parliamentarians, and they're looking to do a deal. They're pragmatists. They got a country to run. And then you have the Iranian people, who are pretty convinced, don't like anybody there, but they're certainly not going to back the IRGC. I'd like to see in the fullness of time how the Iranian government regime survives in any sense of power when they've got 91 million people angry at them, and they've got a viable alternative. There's a reason President Trump, I think, kept the Iranian army, the regular Iranian army, the guys that were in the, that's an army that predates the Iranian Revolution, and the Iranian police force, the regular guys, not the Basij, not the IRGC. Those guys are still intact. The good guys, the Iranian army and the Iranian, they're still intact.
Yeah.
That could be the basis of a new government in Iran. So for me, my big success here is a slow-rolling coup getting rid of the IRGC.
Okay, cut you up. I'm sorry about Cuba. You said they're next. They are on next. What do you see there?
Oh, I think that deal is more or less in place. That the business leaders have gone back and forth. Marco Rubio is talking in Spanish, in Cuban Spanish, to a lot of the leadership there, especially even the Castro grandchildren or grandson, and that the only thing sort of standing in the way is like Maduro. It's those top, incompetent, corrupt, apparatchik communist leaders. But the country wants to change. The leaders of the country want to change, an economic change. There'll be massive investment in Cuba. And I think it'll become, my guess is Donald Trump goes to Havana before the end of his term, and that Cuba 5 years from now is a close American ally.
Love it. One more. President Trump really did campaign against socialism in 2024. And just winning everywhere. We got 9 different candidates who won here in New York. We all watched Colorado in horror a couple nights ago. We watched the primaries. I was in Israel. I was watching in horror last Tuesday when people like Chevalier and Valdez and Brad Lander won. Are you afraid of what this country is going to look like in the very near future?
Not in the near future. Maybe in the near future, not in the long-term future. Why? So what are these socialists? They don't even know what socialism is. Most of the people who were voting from the leaders of the socialist movement, communist movement, do. But I think the people who are voting for them are voting because they don't like this. They don't like their lot in life right now. They don't think the economy's good. They're not getting ahead. They can't buy a house. Their college education, they have a lot of student debt, no jobs. And so how do you fix that? If I look back in history, we had a very similar pro-communist socialist movement in the 1930s. Why? Heart of the Great Depression. Then World War II comes, and then after World War II, prosperity. What happened to socialism in the 1950s and 60s and gone. So I think that the cure for this, the socialist movement in the country, is prosperity. And I think we are headed there. And I do think the next 25 years will be a golden era for the United States economically. In the technology, I think we're ahead in artificial intelligence, and we're going to keep that lead. And then we're going to, by light years, jump ahead of everybody else, and that's going to be the wave of the future. So I don't like what they're doing right now, and they'll do some really stupid stuff, and these cities will lose more people, and they'll be horrible places to live. But in the long run, as the greater economy starts improving, then I think the whole dream of socialism kind of goes away, because there is a good alternative to a corrupt government and to socialism, which nobody really thinks is going to work.
This may have been your greatest performance ever. You know that? That's how great you were today. I mean it, KT. Just fantastic. You came armed with a whole bunch of real facts, and you were great. So I loved you already. You know that. I think you're the best. But thank you very much for this.
Thank you. And I'll be your foreign policy advisor when you're mayor.
Oh, my God. You are going to be. I'm serious. I mean, maybe even chief of staff. I don't know. Something big for you because you are a genius. Oh, quickly, how are you celebrating Saturday?
Oh, well, we have a parade in Southampton. It's like a Hallmark movie parade where the kids ride their bikes with their little streamers and people reenact the Revolutionary War. We have cannons that go off. The fire departments of the whole area come. And I have, let me think, I have 11 grandchildren. I think I've got 9 of them who are going to be with me sitting right there watching the parade.
Is your daughter in from Florida, too?
She's here with her 4 children.
Oh, fantastic. That's beautiful. Well, listen, you enjoy the big birthday on Saturday. And again, thank you so much for being great on this program. I love you, KT. Thank you.
Can I just tell you one great thing everybody should do on the 4th of July?
Sure.
We do it every year.
Sure.
Read the Declaration of Independence.
I love that.
Get your family around. Everybody gets to read a paragraph. It'll just strike courage in your heart.
I really do love that. I do. Read the Declaration of Independence on Saturday. And we're going to do it. I love that idea, KT. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and happy 4th.
You too. I love her. That's a good idea. I like that. You know, O'Reilly does something similar. He's coming up next. Thanksgiving, I'm not sure he does it every year, but he sits down with his kids and his family, and they actually talk about why they're sitting there and what the holiday is all about. They do, which is kind of cool because most of our children are morons, because they don't learn anything in school, especially in New York. They learn nothing, civil rights and slavery, and that's all they learn. It's not their fault. It's a fault of the Board of Education, which in New York should be ashamed of themselves. So I like that idea. Have you ever read, Justin, the Declaration of Independence?
I don't think he's hearing you.
What?
No, he heard me. Perfect. All right, we'll come back with Bill O'Reilly.
Jeez, are you kidding me?
Sid and Friends in the morning on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
For some reason, I came up in the conversation between Blakeman and Varney. So before I get Bill on here, Lou, if you can play that. This is once again courtesy of Fox News.
Blakeman, is Dave Portnoy the kind of guy you could work with if he became mayor?
Absolutely. It's very exciting. I've heard 2 exciting names that are interested in running for mayor. David Portnoy is the newest one, and that's exciting. Sid Rosenberg, the radio personality, is interested. It's good that there are people out there that are willing to step up and take on Zohran Mamdani. So it's going to be very interesting. Zohran Mamdani has charted a course of failure for New York City. He's not hiring new cops to fill all the vacancies of all the people that are leaving the police department. So we are headed for a disaster under Zohran Mamdani. I will stop him as governor. I will turn things around. And having a Dave Portnoy or a Sid Rosenberg or somebody else for that matter that will jump in and be willing to run is a great thing for New York City.
God, I love him. I really do. Bruce Blakeman, that's very cool. Thank you very much. Dave Portnoy, Sid Rosenberg. He was the best. He still is the best. He'll always be the best, whether it's Thursdays right here with me, Mondays with Katz and Cosby, his own amazing website, BillO'Reilly.com. Great interviews, great stories. It's really just great television. He writes all these great books, The Killing Series, his book on the presidents confronting evil, new book coming out again late September this year, his News Nation work with Chris Cuomo and Stephen A. Smith, his live shows on the road, and his brand new podcast, which is doing really well, Do It Live, the great Bill O'Reilly. Bill, good morning, buddy. How are you?
So you were gone, and then I read in the paper that you are in the Broadcast Hall of Fame. Is that correct?
Not yet. I'm being inducted in October 22nd at the Rainbow Room, and you need to be there. And I'm not just saying this to patronize you and all that, but when I think of people along the way that got me to this surreal and almost laughable point that I'm going into the Hall of Fame, you're one of those people at the very top of the list. So it is happening, Bill. I know it's crazy. I know you can't believe it, but it really is happening.
But I'm jealous. I mean, I think they have a picture of me in Borelli's on Hempstead Turnpike. But that's as close to any Hall of Fame I've ever gotten.
What?
So I'm very jealous. But if I can be there, I will be there.
Oh, it'll be great.
At the Rainbow Room.
Yes.
Your trip to Israel was good, right? Everything worked out?
It was great. I had the chance to speak with and hang out a bit with Bibi Netanyahu last Sunday. In fact, that last Sunday...
Let me stop you there.
Yeah.
When you say you hang out with Bibi Netanyahu...
That's right.
How does that happen? Do you go bowling? Do you help him with his comb over? What do you do to hang out?
Well, in this particular case, he was only at the Waldorf Astoria for a couple of hours, so we did sat next to each other. We talked. We had a couple of good conversations and took a couple of pictures, that type of thing. But I've done what you're talking about. I've gone for dinners. I've gone to a farm. I've gone to a winery. I've done all those things in the past with Bibi. But last Sunday, because it was only one venue, it was me, Mike Huckabee, Bibi Netanyahu, Mark Levin. We all hung out together at the Waldorf Astoria. Nice, huh?
Very swell. Who picked up the tab for that?
Not me, jns.org.
Was Bibi paying in crypto?
It was, you're funny. You say crypto and you mention Bibi, but you know that right now, the liberal media, those lunatic Democrats, all they're talking about is all the money that President Trump and his sons have made in crypto, while everybody else is taking a beating. How was that happening?
Because he's in the easy story. I've been trying this week to get people to understand there's the actual story that's happening, and then there's the easy story that you can just, slam somebody you don't like. That's, a 5-year-old can do that. Now, on the Trump situation, we don't really know the extent of his financial dealings because nobody has seen what the losses were. They've seen what the gains were, but not the losses and not who did what. I understand that he established a trust, a revocable trust. That's complicated. I understand that. But he seems to have followed the guidelines that are in place for the president to do business. And Trump's always been a businessman. Now, maybe he did a Hunter Biden and used connections. That's certainly possible. But these people who are reporting on it, they don't know anything. For example, Jared Kushner, who is Trump's son-in-law, spent a lot of dough in Albania. Apparently, Jared wants to make Albania into Coney Island.
Come on.
It's not happening, okay? It's not a good idea. The Albanians don't like you, Jared. They don't like anything about you, all right? They'll take your money. You'll never see it again. And we're not going to have Coney Island in Albania. But the Trump organization put a lot of money in there to try to develop that. And so that comes off the top. But it doesn't really matter. The perception is reality, and the perception is that the president of the United States is a grifter, and he's using his position to help his family get money. And so that's what these networks do. They don't care what really happened. They're not spending any time investigating. They don't care.
Yeah. They really don't. And back to the Iran thing for a second. Similar conversations I had this week with John Catsimatidis, who's a very bright guy, obviously, and KT McFarland. They both seem to think we won. We won the war. Everybody else is more like me, which is we've won nothing. We haven't lost anything. I never said we lost the war. Maybe we've got the edge in terms of who's winning, but I'm not near a place at all right now. I'm about to say we won this war. What does Bill O'Reilly think?
Well, there's only one yardstick for victory, and that's weapons inspectors going in on a regular basis to monitor the Iranians trying to make an atom bomb with their enriched uranium.
Right, but if you believe, now forget about Operation Epic Fury. If you believe that Midnight Hammer, and I do believe this, I'm on John's side and KT's side. If you believe that Midnight Hammer destroyed their ability for the centrifuges to even use that uranium, then they're not light years, but they are ways off from enriching that stuff anyway to make a nuclear bomb, thanks to Trump.
That may be true, but it's all classified. And from what I'm hearing, the Iranians had a couple of other uranium sites.
I'm sure.
That weren't hit.
I'm sure.
And, I had a debate with Chris Cuomo, who didn't believe anything about the uranium stuff at all. And, I said, look, almost every expert monitors this kind of stuff, concurs that Iran is trying to get a nuclear weapon. This week, they come out and go, hey, we have to have a nuclear weapon because we're going to get attacked. And, now they're saying it themselves. But it's fairly easy to understand if you don't get that component, then you can't say that this thing was worth it. And that's what the American people are looking for.
But then again, John and KT were both very quick to point out all these fantastic economic improvements. The Dow Jones over 52, S&P up, and again, they're not talking about interest rates are still high and inflation is still high because all you hear is, well, oil is down to much less than it was under Biden. So there seem to be some economic indicators that may, in fact, say it was worth it until we get the dust.
Well, it's not enough to win the midterm elections because it's way too complicated. And most Americans judge the administration by how they are prospering individually.
Agreed.
Trump was smart when he said to the American oil companies, we know you're gouging, and they are. Okay, so you better bring it down. You better bring them down to $2.50 a gallon. Now, the American oil companies are going to take their sweet time because they're in business to take as much money out of O'Reilly and Sid as they can. But the people know that. And so people evaluate, their vote is evaluated by how it is affecting them directly, not macroeconomics. KT could teach a course at the Kennedy School at Harvard, and it would be a good course, but that's not going to influence one vote.
I agree with you. That's why, people talk about the Dow Jones. I mean, I'm not saying...
half the country doesn't thinks Dow Jones plays for the Celtics.
Right. It's by the way, it's a lot more than half the country. Like I've been saying all week long, 3/4 of the country, 3/4. If they get to go to one Red Lobster dinner a month, they're doing great. They have no idea what the Dow Jones is.
They're not the investor class.
Correct.
So 2 more points because I know you're tight for time. And if you put me on any later, I'm going to be intruding on the Bo Nerdly show.
I keep telling you, you're doing me a big favor because my 9 o'clock ratings have never been better. Never.
All right, but it's getting later and later and later. I mean, I have to shave twice before I can come on this Sid's radio program. All right, so I'm whining now, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So I'm on News Nation and. Tomorrow night, is it tomorrow night? No, today is Thursday. It's tonight. I don't even know when my own stuff is on. Boy, am I delirious. I have a special at 9 o'clock on News Nation about heroes and villains in the Revolutionary War, not the people that you know, okay? The people, and this pertains exactly to today. 50% of the colonists didn't want to leave the king. Okay, they wanted to stay. No matter how he abused the colonists, they were not willing to move out of it. And we have a large segment of the population today that votes for destructive people. So Cuomo was last night was saying, well, the Democrats are going to lock down the midterms. They're going to win the midterms because now we have this money stuff going into Trump, and people aren't going to like that. And I looked at him and I said, what you're not understanding here is that people aren't going to vote, all right, ideology. They're going to vote in November on who's going to protect them from Mamdani, from AOC, from these loons in the New York congressional delegation. most Americans know this is bad. And they may not like the way that Donald Trump is conducting himself. I think you could make a point that maybe he modifies a little bit, okay? But the threat from the far left, and they're not socialists, they're communists. Every single one of them wants to control the means of production. Now, again, I mean, you don't teach this stuff in school. People don't know. What does that mean, means of production? You know, is that a band? Aren't they playing with Santana, means of production? They don't know, but they feel that this malevolency that is rising in the urban centers is not what they want.
God, I hope you're right.
There's only one candidate protecting them from that.
Who's that?
That puts this election in a totally different context.
But what if you're wrong? What if America really is ready to make this crazy? It's crazy. It's they're going to destroy the country.
I just can't imagine it.
Yeah.
I've been to every state, every major city. Once you get out of the big urban areas, which are controlled by the communists, and you're not going to make inroads there. But once you get out into the rural and suburban areas, when you go up to see your concert at Bethel Woods, you're going to have a bunch of liberal people up there, and fine. But the people who live there don't want Mamdani telling them what they can have.
True. I think you're right.
They don't want it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm just, the more and more these people win, the primary elections, again, it was just primary, but I believe they're all going to win anyway come GE, come November. What we saw in Colorado a couple nights ago. I mean, Bill, when Hassan Piker, he's a lowlife. He's a podcast host. He was the one that said to Mamdani originally, America deserved 9/11. He's out in the streets of Denver campaigning, Bill. What is that?
Only 20% of the people are voting. The other 80 are sitting it out because it's a primary.
Well, I said this last night. I said, because the same thing happens when it comes to the G, unless they're voting for Trump. Republicans, not you, I know that's not you, but it's me. We need to do a much better job. We bitch, we complain, but we're not voting. 7% voted here last Tuesday. 7% of Democrats, obviously, but are Republicans voting?
They will in Wyoming.
Yeah.
And they will in Florida. And I think the guy in Texas is going to get waxed. The guy who thinks he's got 8 genders.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost impossible to pass a voter ID law when you have 8 genders because you got so many, what do you got? You got a big cardboard thing you bring in? Well, when I was 6, I was here. Now I'm Larry, but I was Shirley. But I didn't like Shirley, so now I'm back to Vinny. I'm Vinny now.
Yeah.
And there's the guy, the voting instructor, going, all right, just vote.
Just vote.
Okay?
Give me a bit, right. Get out. Just vote and get out.
Right.
Yeah. What has happened? I mean, Bill, but I got to wrap it up. But no one knows the history of this country on this show more than you do. What has happened? Seriously, what's happened?
What's happened is 2 things. Number one, terrible education policies. So people don't understand what communism is. They don't understand. This week is the anniversary of the Korean War, 1950. They don't know what the Korean War is. They don't know why it was fought. They don't know why Vietnam was fought. They don't know what the Cold War was. They don't know anything about Stalin or Marx. They don't know anything.
I can prove that to you. My son Gabriel, who loves you, you love him. He goes to high school in New York City. All they teach him about, Bill, I'm not lying, civil rights and slavery. Nothing about World War II, Vietnam, Korea, all the things you just mentioned. They never learn about that stuff, ever.
Even the Revolutionary War and the 4th of July, which is why we're doing the special tonight.
Right.
Because people don't know anything about it. But that's what they're teaching in New York City is victimization. They want your son to believe that he is a victim of white men like Trump who are making billions in crypto. That's what that's what the television networks do. And the second factor is parents. So the parents are spending all their time on the phone or on the golf course or whatever. They're not sitting their kid down for discussions about their country. It's the 4th of July, 250. Did you talk to your kid about this? All right. Does he know anything about it? Does he know the sacrifice and blood and treasure
No.
of his fellow Americans,
No.
For freedom?
No.
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 And that's the parental. So the parents delegate all of their responsibility to be a good citizen, all right? And the education system in the urban areas are telling every kid that they're a victim.
You're right. Well, you just nailed it.
That's why
Yep.
you see this rise. You're seeing this rise because they don't know what the consequences are of not having enough police. They don't know that Mamdani wants to control where you live, what you eat. Food is next.
Yep.
All right, he'll slap so many regulations on the grocery stores because he wants you to buy food from the city. This is what communism is. The central government controls everything. And then the wealth tax is coming. We're going to just seize your private property. We're going to steal it from you.
Oh, my God.
Do you think these kids know that?
None of it. No, they don't. No.
You take their phone and they're going to be upset.
Right.
So Mamdani will probably leave that for last.
Yeah, I'm going to sit down with my kids because they've asked. They want to know more about 9/11. It's coming up in a couple of months, a 25-year commemoration. They asked. I was on the air that day. Danielle was working right by the Empire State Building. They asked. But these kids, Revolutionary War, even 9/11, only 25 years ago, no idea. And for the most part, they don't care. And you're right, education and parents. You're an amazing, amazing guy, Bill O'Reilly. I couldn't love you more than I do. Thank you so much. It's a great appearance. Thank you.
Okay, say hello to the Doobie Brothers for me.
I will. Hey, what are you doing?
Oh,
What are you doing Saturday? You going to read the Declaration of Independence with the kids or what?
Well, we're out in eastern Long Island, and we're and I know you can't, but got a little open house going on, and a lot of patriots there.
Nice.
And I did invite Mamdani, but he said, I will come if I can run the entire party, including what everybody wears.
Yeah, that's him.
And I said, no, I don't think we're going, no, that's a little bit too much, Mr. Mayor. Thanks.
Yeah, that's him, though. That's what he wants to do. Bill, you're great. I love you. Yeah, I know. Have fun out there on Saturday. We'll do it again next week, buddy. Thank you so much.
All right. You too, Sid. Thanks for having me.
God bless you. It's my man. I love him. Bill O'Reilly.
Sid and Friends in the morning on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Got to get a deep teeth cleaning today.
Why do you schedule this now?
Why? That's when they wanted to do it. I don't know. The dentist. I didn't realize it was the same day I was going upstate. I had no idea. So
just pick a date next week.
I know it's stupid. God, maybe I'll just cancel. I don't know. It's not the mood to be in pain for the whole weekend.
That's another thing.
Yeah, it hurts. I may just cancel. But they have this 24-hour pop. I don't know. I'm really mad at Justin too. So because Scott Lebedo just sent me a very nasty text.
Really?
No. Not really.
Okay,
bro.
It's all fine, bro.
I got it. I don't mind being rejected, but every week, what are you talking about? I was in Israel last week. You canceled 2 weeks ago. But we'll see about the dentist. And then if I go to the dentist and my daughter and son both have friends coming upstate, it's a whole mess.
Well, what does that got to do with your teeth being cleaned?
No, nothing. I just felt like complaining about my teeth. It's the same guy that took my teeth out last month. Now they're going to... There's a girl now, though. She's the... what do you call that person?
The dental hygienist.
Yeah, yeah, her. Yeah. She's Ukrainian. She barely speaks English. But she understands, ouch.
I'm sure she does.
So...
Sid and Friends in the morning on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
We certainly talk about all the issues we've got in this city with a horrible radical Islam jihad mayor. He's a bad guy. He's a very, very bad guy, okay? And across the country, we have a lot of issues. We do. But don't lose sight of the fact that this is, and there really is no close second anymore. This is the greatest country in the world. There is no close second. And I would say that even, as I mentioned 2 hours ago, if Joe Biden was still the president. That walking cadaver, that crooked, corrupt, feeble fool. Even when he was president, we were still the greatest country. Certainly now with President Donald J. Trump, we are. And you know how much I love Trump? I'm also not afraid to criticize Trump. I think that's why this show has more credibility than most. And I may be wrong in my criticism. I don't know. But I'm not afraid to do it. But he's still a magnificent president, and we still are the best country in the world. I'm going to go upstate this weekend and see my 91-year-old mother. She loves this country. She loves Trump. I'm going to go see a concert with a bunch of people having a great time. The Doobie Brothers and Santana. I'm going to be with my children and my children's friends and my family, wife and brothers, brother-in-laws and sisters, and we're all going to celebrate together. Because even through our differences, the divided states of America, most of us, I'm not talking about the lunatics, the DSA lunatics on the left, who really do hate this country. Hassan Piker, that lady in Colorado a couple of nights ago, the psychos that won here last Tuesday, they really do have disdain for this country. They do. I don't know why. Most of them are doing pretty well, including Brad Lander, but they do. But the overwhelming majority of Americans, even the ones that are upset, they know. And to our brave men and women that are out somewhere alone this weekend in some country defending us so we can enjoy Saturday, I think it's important we thank them too. It's not Veterans Day. It's not Memorial Day. It doesn't matter. When you talk about the freedoms we enjoy in this country for now 250 years, it goes back to them, the military, the veterans. Thank you, Greg Kelly. Thank you, Chad Lopez. Thank you, all of you.
Thanks for listening to Sid and Friends in the Morning. You can hear Sid and Friends in the Morning weekday mornings at 6. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
In this 25th anniversary year of September 11th, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation continues to honor America's heroes. Heroes like Fire Lieutenant Michael Wells, who was inspired by 9/11 to serve his community. After 14 dedicated years of service, he lost his battle with occupational cancer, leaving behind his wife, Katie, and their 3 children. Tunnel to Towers honored Lieutenant Wells by paying off the family's mortgage in recognition of his sacrifices. Donate $11 monthly and amplify your impact with a car or land donation. Go to T2T.org.